Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Good afternoon or morning, Matt and Josh.
Good morning. Good morning.
How y'all doing?
I'm Matt McMaster with 1620 The Zone.
All right, so we counted how many times you said a team's mascot in your first report, and it was 7 for the record.
Good bit.
I learned from Caleb Henry that you have to switch off between name and school and state and all that stuff. So it was Purdue, Boilermakers, Wildcats, Purdue, Wildcats, Wildcats.
Are
Purdue.
you open to any critiques?
I am. Oh, okay. Why do you say it like that? As if I don't take critiques every day.
Well, I know you take them, but do you take them well?
He wants to know if you're open to them.
Yeah.
It's not that he wasn't going to provide them. He just wanted to know your frame of mind.
This is you can ask Josh Peterson. I am open to any critiques if they are fair. And if I think you're being a little bit too picky, then I'd be like, oh, come on. What do you think?
Either take it or leave it.
All right.
I think you could have talked about the whole tournament instead of just one game. That wasn't your choice.
I was doing I was given what I was told.
The
what
guidance
to do.
he was given might have been where that problem lies.
Okay.
Also, it's only 35 seconds. I only have 35 seconds.
I know.
So it's kind of hard for me to.
But I say you wouldn't have had to do 7 mascots if you just talked about the rest of the tournament.
I will. You know what? I will keep that in mind now. But
Thank you.
You have to understand.
Did you get the Iowa score in instead of Boilermakers for the 4th time?
That's kind of what
I just kind of you have to say as many, like, I know the script because it's the Northwestern Wildcats defeated the Indiana Hoosiers by a score, and then I say the Wildcats and the Boilermakers, but I have to say them a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And then I said the Cornhuskers at the end. You have to go proper name when you're introducing a team.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
You can just say Nebraska. People get it.
No, when you're doing these reports have rules. You have.
They
rules.
absolutely do not have these rules.
We don't follow the AP style guide.
But these are the rules. If I'm introducing a team, you have to do first name, last name.
That is a dumb rule and not real.
The Northwestern Wildcats defeated the Indiana Hoosiers. They take on the Purdue Boilermakers.
I know where he's coming from.
They play.
I get it.
That is a dumb and not real
I
rule.
definitely get it.
Yeah,
like okay.
I know what you're trying to do,
but it's a very. I mean, you like in broadcasting, like, is that not a thing that you would follow if you're doing a sportscast?
But my point is, if you would talk about more teams, you could just say Iowa beat whoever the hell they beat, and Maryland lost to Oregon or whatever.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So if I
agree with that.
If I was doing a full table recap of the Big Ten tournament where I was going through all the scores,
which you could, in theory,
I could. Okay. I would totally do what you were saying. I would totally do.
That's all I'm saying.
Minnesota beat Rutgers, and Oregon defeated Washington, and USC fell at the hands or whatever. But when I'm doing like specific in-game, one game to one game, then you do first name, last name.
I told him, hey, maybe we do Nebraska plays the winner of Purdue and
normal thing to mention.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that should have been the focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like tomorrow, though, there will be.
I'm realizing I might have been wrong.
Multiple unique.
I just think we could have got the full rundown in 35 seconds.
I could probably do it right now.
Ooh,
do it.
Let me pull out the scoreboard.
We can use this if it's clean.
Can you
audio.
try and do it with no mascots?
When you have a computer right in front of you, you went to your phone to
yeah,
get
it's interesting.
Well, it's because the
Gen Z,
the CBS Sports app is so great, and I can just toggle in on the Big Ten scores right away.
Sure,
people who use that really like it.
I love it. Okay,
they're always talking about
it. It
They
is
are
the
always
one sports app that I'm told.
It's
about.
like the Android of apps. People who have Androids are always talking about how they have Androids.
Okay, let me get one. I just want one kind of like incidental stat. Okay, all right.
Keaton Wadlow dropped 32 last night.
All right,
hasn't played yet.
Who cares? It's the Big Ten.
The second round of the Big Ten tournament came to a conclusion last night as Iowa defeated Maryland by a score of 75-64. Washington defeated USC in overtime 83-79. Zoom Diallo led the Huskies with 22 points in that one. Northwestern upset the Indiana Hoosiers by a score of 74-61. And Rutgers defeated Minnesota 72-67. All those teams, dang it,
Keep going.
All those teams will be in action today in round 3 of the Big Ten tournament. The winner of the Northwestern and Purdue game will take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Friday at
You said a
5:30.
mascot. It's over. Bang it. Clock it. Do it again. No,
That
I'm
was
just
good.
kidding. Don't do it again.
That was good.
It was great. And guess what? You were here while you're.
See, I do things, and Connor goes, I want you to do it differently.
No.
And then I do those things differently.
This is why I asked you if you could take a critique.
I took it and I used it live.
And now you don't like it.
I love it. I love you. I love you.
All right.
I love you. You're a dear friend of mine.
Okay. All right.
I tried calling you a super dear friend of mine last week, and then you said you wouldn't show up if I invited you places. It's an exact quote.
Wait, what context was this?
I said that I didn't have a lot of friends in Omaha, and you said, yes, you do. You have me. If you text me to go to a certain place, I probably won't go there.
Yeah, but that's for everybody.
You're like, I'd consider it, but I wouldn't.
I did invite you guys to come get hammered with me on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, I do want to mention, Schaefer was nice enough to respond and explain to me why not. Peterson explained to me
I might
why
be
not.
out when you're still out. I don't know what my
But
situation
Happer, and this is the least surprising thing, Happer just didn't respond to it at all.
I'll tell you why.
Well, you're not. There's no way. You are the last person on the list of people I texted about St. Patrick's
Can you
Day.
tell me why I didn't get invited?
Oh, well, I will. I was going to invite you myself later today. I was.
I didn't really want to explain myself.
You don't have to.
Well,
No one has
you
to.
wouldn't have liked it if I just said no.
But
So I felt like I had to explain myself. And
his explanation would be that he doesn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
No, my explanation would be I'm going to dinner that night because it's my brother-in-law's birthday. So I don't really want to go out before, and then I have to do all this mental math in my head of like, okay, I'm going to be waking up at 5 and then do the show. And then, am I going to go out to lunch? Like, it's just a calculation that probably hasn't taken place yet. But I was probably leaning no, and so I just didn't respond.
Josh, do you want to, after our show on Tuesday, you want to go and get in the pocket with me?
No.
Okay.
See, Josh doesn't even explain him.
That's totally fine. You all are middle-aged men with wives and kids.
So there's another part of this that's interesting too. Do you want to, and will you / can you?
Oh, yeah.
2 different questions. Maybe I want to, but I can't.
I mean,
Do you want to?
Maybe I won't. Maybe.
Do you want to?
Maybe I want to.
Do you want to?
I don't know. Just
Do you want to?
It's a no.
It's
So where-
totally a no.
where
I
was
mean,
it to again?
I appreciate his attempt to distinguish, but I also know that
It's
a no.
just a no. And by the way, I don't blame any of you. I'm a 23-year-old immature man who can drink you all under the
I
table.
don't even think I wear green on St.
Okay,
Patrick's
buddy.
Day anymore.
Understandable.
Yeah. I'm not a very festive guy.
But you look very Irish. I don't know if you are very Irish.
I'm
but
probably Irish a bit.
you look, I mean, you have red hair and blue eyes, and you're white. You're Irish white too. You're like the rosy white.
No.
Yes, you
I
are.
mean, he could be Scandinavian. Those
Well,
things
you're
describe
rosy white.
Scandinavian.
I'm
No,
not
no.
as rosy white as you are. There's different whiteness.
No, people are more ginger
Unless you're
than
Cuban. isn't it?
gingers are more ginger
I'm a
than
little
me.
olive. I'm a slightly olive.
You know, like I'm not of the I'm not in the super ginger community.
Well, you lost your hair, yeah. I mean,
No. I'm just talking about my skin tone. Like I don't.
He's saying he's not a jar of mayo.
Yeah.
no, you're not that.
I'm
you're
not as
rosy,
white
but
as-
you're rosy. You're a little red. You got a little hints of. So does he. He's rosy.
You think my cheeks are red?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's what happens to Italians.
Mine's just dry
Who
skin
knows?
and poor skin care. Frankly, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, mine's poor skincare too. I use the Rock's facial wash.
The Rock,
Yeah,
like
The
the
Rock,
person.
Yeah. The Samoa. He has like a Samoan facial.
And you're saying it's no good?
wash. It's just not as effective as I was hoping.
Why did you buy it in the first?
Because I'm like,
place?
look at that guy's skin.
Yeah.
I go, that guy's skin is glistening.
I found
Do you think The
I found the
Rock
products do not
uses his
smell
own
good.
facial wash?
You know what? Great
I'm gonna say
question,
no.
Schaefer. I'm probably gonna say no. I don't think he uses the
I don't think he drinks
$12.99.
his own tequila.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't think he uses his own facial
That guy doesn't
wash.
even have his own teeth anymore.
He should drink his own tequila.
Who
It's
has their
delicious.
own teeth anymore?
Everybody that's not rich.
No, I'm talking about fame. What famous person doesn't have their
They're
own
all
teeth?
rich. They don't
What
have
fa-
their own teeth.
What famous person doesn't?
That's why you can't trust them.
What famous person still has their own cheeks? Everybody's got different cheeks now. See Margot Robbie? She's completely different looking now.
I haven't seen Margot Robbie.
She's
Yeah,
got
I like
some
this.
facial work done.
She changed
Oh.
herself.
She's beautiful still. Don't get me wrong. but
Barbie
she
changed herself?
She just looks. I know,
Did
right?
she not listen to the message of that
Right.
entire movie
I know.
that I sat through for 3 hours?
You watched
Hey,
that movie?
That movie was not that long and was awesome.
I
Whoa.
enjoyed it.
Holy
She didn't-
progressive happer. Great job.
She
What?
didn't do
I
it.
like
Stop.
Barbie is progressive.
I'm kidding.
Jeez.
I'm kidding. I went to Oppenheimer. I was a real man.
I did not.
Some of
You-
us saw both.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you did Barbenheimer?
No.
I haven't seen the Bomb movie. I only saw the one with Barbie.
You haven't seen. First off, it's
I've seen
not-
Barbie like 3
first off,
times now.
It's not
I watched
a
Barbie on a
bomb
plane.
movie. It's not a bomb movie. All right.
It's not about a bomb.
It's about J. Robert Oppenheimer and the struggles of making the atomic bomb and
So
the
it
own
sounds like a bomb.
No, but it's about his own personal struggles more so than just a bomb going
So
kaboom
is
in
he a
Japan.
bomb?
At what
himself.
point does the bomb come into play in the movie?
I mean, the entire time, but it's a lot about the bomb in his head, not necessarily the bomb on the ground.
Okay. A metaphorical bomb.
I think it's a bomb movie.
I don't think you can get
Things
out
are
of this.
deeper, all right? It's deeper than just a bomb. You just go,
So don't
it's
you
a
wanna-
bomb movie.
Do you want to know what Barbie's about?
It's about a doll.
No.
It's about the patriarchy or whatever.
No.
That's I don't know. Clay Travis had a whole thing on it.
Oh, that seems like someone. you
Clay
should listen
Travis
to.
hated Barbie. Interesting.
Most predictable take
Interesting.
of literally all time.
Interesting.
Why? Yeah,
I knew that would get that reaction. That's sometimes I drop bombs on the crossover.
You know why I like Barbie the most, actually? No, this is not progressive.
Why? Because
Ryan Gosling's in it.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's awesome.
The Dojo House.
Yes.
Ken's Mojo Dojo, or
See, you have seen it.
I've seen clips of it.
He hasn't
Mojo
seen-
Dojo
don't
Casa
give-
House.
He
You
spark
don't
notes
give him
it.
credit. He just quotes things.
He spark notes it.
He gets really annoyed when I do that.
I am
find
annoyed
it
by it
stupid.
too.
I really do.
I don't, you know what? The fact that it annoys you makes me want to do it more.
No, I mean, it just seems like, why would you put the effort to learn the quote if you aren't going to bother to watch the movie?
See, because I want to have conversation. Let me be a fraud. Can I just be a fraud in peace?
But you're
Can I
calling
just,
yourself
can I
a
just be a
fraud.
fraud in peace? Just let me be a fraud in
I'm
peace.
trying to prevent you from looking dumb.
There's nothing you could do to stop that from happening.
That is not an untrue statement.
I bring it upon myself, sometimes willfully, sometimes unwillfully. That's when we have
What is
problems.
the percentage here?
I would say that amongst us, when we're doing the crossover and amongst Peterson and Bishop, I willfully am ignorant or make statements that I think will be funny about 65% of the time.
Wait. So you're saying 65 of your dumb statements are on purpose?
Yeah, because they're funny.
That cannot be true.
That felt like an over-exaggeration.
That cannot be true. That was just one of them just then.
No, well, that was the 35%.
That might have been a
That
purposeful
wasn't.
one, yeah.
I don't think that's not a purposeful one at all.
There
I
was
do
a
believe
time
that.
where you impassionately argued something for 20 minutes only to cut off your own argument in the last 30 seconds and then claim it was a bit all along.
Probably. That's
I don't accept the 65.
yeah, no,
No.
that's probably that was cowardice by me. That one time though, where I was like, I'm a blue collar man, I drink gas station coffee, and I go, this coffee sucks. That was willfully being stupid.
Yeah. I remember that.
That's a good example of like
Blue collar, Matt.
Blue Collar Matt. We're the most progressive and horny show on 1620 to Zone. That is a
So you
willfully
should definitely
dumb-
watch Barbie.
probably.
But Clay Travis told him not to.
You can be
clearly-
I got all my
progressively
takes
horny,
from clips.
Progressively horny show on 1620 The Zone. Clay Travis is
progressively horny.
I mean, that's
And
kinda
it
what
keeps
is.
on getting hornier and hornier. That's what it seems like.
Like the time where I took a deep breath into the microphone over Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
Like that is
Oh, that's today. I forgot about that.
no, not today. Not today.
It's the segment before the Creighton game starts, and I don't think that's the best
Probably
lead in.
not.
Yeah.
We're probably going to punt on it.
You're
today.
banging it?
We're doing it.
Why don't you just do it right now?
Okay, first off, I don't want to describe us banging this week in women's
Sometimes-
history.
That particular segment, you don't.
Sometimes
Yeah,
have.
kid
we
gets
don't.
banged.
We're
Joey could have some graphics there.
we're actively not trying to bang this week in women's history.
I don't know. It kind of feels like sometimes you are.
Well, that's why I
Mr.
Take,
Deep Sigh.
that's why I take deep breaths.
Mr. Deep Sigh.
Look, we don't have anything established on Fridays. Like we don't have any a benchmark on a Friday, so we're just gonna move this week in women's history to tomorrow.
Unless you have like a name like on file right now
I don't know how many.
for him.
I don't know which ones you've got to.
We
Just give him a
haven't
name.
even
Yeah, throw a
scratched the
name at it.
surface.
Well, I've always wanted you guys to do Christy Brinkley.
Oh, she's the one you,
I
Brad,
think
you already
that-
told me
you
about
do that one.
You
Yeah,
already,
not like, or
yeah,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
She what?
You already told me about that one. She ruined Billy Joel.
I don't
Billy
think she
Joel
ruined
him or something like
But
that.
I
He
think
wasn't.
they
Billy Joel
ruined each
ruined
other,
Billy
yeah.
Joel,
He,
yeah.
he wasn't cool anymore or something like that.
I mean, he was
after
never
that.
really cool, but you know.
What, you don't like Captain Jack?
No, I love Billy Joel. You don't understand.
Pressure.
I love Billy Joel. He's my favorite artist.
Bottle of red.
But
You would.
he was never really that
You ever
cool.
do Billy Joel karaoke? I feel like Billy Joel would be a good karaoke guy.
I do lots of Billy Joel karaoke, actually.
We got to do karaoke together. It'll never
Why?
happen.
Because you think you're better at it?
No, I don't. I think that anybody who does karaoke with me more than likely is better at it than I am.
Oh, you strike me as a guy who would think I'm really good at karaoke.
No, I'm not.
Interesting.
But I love to do it. I think it's a lot of fun. So especially if you have
Because
like-
you were talking about how good of a singer you were the other day.
yeah, back when I was like 13, I was pretty good. But
Yeah,
then
he performed in all
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
performances
in the musicals.
yeah, but then I don't know, my puberty hit me and it just didn't. It just affected my voice. I was a good singer back when I was 11.
Oh, so you're not
Were you a
anymore.
soprano?
Yeah, I could get high. I could get pretty high. And then
Nice.
now, Anyway, we should do karaoke together. It'll
I'm
never
down.
happen.
I
but,
love
like,
karaoke. Why
Would
wouldn't
you
it
guys do a
happen?
duet?
No, but
I'd
No.
be down.
you would do a duet
Sure. Whatever.
in the shallow.
I've watched Barbie.
What does having doing Barbie have to do with?
I don't
doing a
know. It
duet?
seems like you would not be into a duet if you have never seen Barbie
How-
because
how
Clay
is that-
Travis told you
how-
not to.
Clay Travis wasn't an influence on whether or not I saw Barbie. I'm just saying that was
I
the
would
only.
love a segment called "This Week in Clay Travis," where Matt
You
just
guys,
tells us
wait. You
what
guys
his
have
hero
to do.
Clay Travis has been up to.
You guys have to do Claypool of the week. Like if you did,
It's pretty funny.
if
It's
you
your
did-
thing.
If you did Claypool of the week, that would be. I would send that to my dad. Every,
Claypool of the week is Mark DeRosa this week, actually. He screwed that one up like Claypool.
I'm so mad. I
Woof.
like.
Tough
Guy
look.
needs to send Vinny a fruit basket.
He does.
So my dad, by the way, Northwestern graduate, really excited about the prospect of Northwestern playing Nebraska on Friday.
Oh, really?
Like,
is he going to be up in
I
that
hope
thing?
it happens.
Sent my dad's the
bet.
my dad's the type of
Oh,
father.
a team on their 4th game in 4 days.
My dad's the type of father that he's in multiple group chats with me, and he will send one text in one group chat that I'm in, copy, paste it, and
Yeah.
put it in multiple other group chats
Love it.
that I'm in. So yesterday in 4 different group chats, I got this text message. The Cats win again in the Big Ten tourney. If they beat Purdue tomorrow, they play Nebraska on Friday night.
Wow, he does updates like you.
Dad,
We should have him do the update.
Why are we even sending Matt? we are master in Chicago all along.
We already have boots on the
we
ground.
already have a McUpdate up and going.
Oh my gosh.
Dap and I.
They're
That's
even
it.
going to be in the same house.
Can I continue my dad's update?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Dap and I will be at that game, and I love Dapper, but I'll be wearing my purple instead of red on Friday night. Go Cats.
Wow. Who's Dap?
That's me. Calls me Dapper.
What's up with that?
That's just a nickname he's had for me since I was 12, because I always like to dress nice.
Where does it derive from?
It derives from me like wearing fedoras when I was like 10, 11, and 12. And,
Nice.
and-
That makes sense.
yeah.
All right, hang on. Clay
Wearing
Travis.
You love to sing.
Yeah, stop
You're
it.
into
Stop it.
musical.
Stop it.
It's
Stop
an
it.
interesting picture that
I
is being
played hockey.
painted.
It all cancels out. So,
Yeah, like, I mean, okay.
so he called me Dapper.
That's cool.
I obviously got out of the fedora phase, and I just I turned it in for my hat phase, which is literally just being a grown male.
See,
and I know that because all 4 of us are wearing hats and we wear
You
hats
can wear a
every
fedora
day.
if you want right now. I don't care.
I will wear a fedora on Kentucky Derby Day.
Wow.
Normal day to wear your fedora.
I mean, yeah.
Schaefer, have you ever seen, or Matt, have you ever seen Schaefer when he went to the Kentucky Derby?
No, but I imagine it's awesome.
It's a great picture.
I bet it's an
One of
awesome
the
picture.
Greatest, funniest insults I've ever received was off of that photo. And it was comparing me
To David
to the
Baker?
guy from Jurassic Park who owns the park because of the outfit that I was wearing that day.
All white.
Yeah, it was.
You were
It
wearing
was
it all
incredible.
white.
It's a great picture.
Spence.
It's a great
It wasn't-
picture.
It wasn't quite all white.
It's pretty close to the Corey McEwen picture. It's very, very, very close.
It's
We should do a Mount Rushmore of pictures of Mike Schaefer.
Yes, that'd be
Ooh,
great.
Okay. Yeah, I
There's a
don't have a
few.
lot for graphics and
There's a
promotional materials and such.
Hot dog costume.
By the way, speaking about the Kentucky Derby, Bob Baffert's got a horse, Patente.
doesn't he have like 6 horses in
No,
there?
but this one, Patente, fast one.
All right.
We got a
cool.
fast horse.
Nice.
So-
I'll think about it at 5:15 on Kentucky Derby Day.
No, just bet Paladin. Yeah, I've already told you, Paladin. That's the horse.
What's his
Palladium.
odds?
It's gonna be.
All right.
He's gonna be. A
I'm
heavy
out.
favorite. He's gonna be a heavy.
Give me
heavy
at least 12 to 1.
Ted Noffey got injured, and that's a tough one because he's a Todd Pletcher horse, and he would have had a shot.
Well,
51 days.
51 days.
51 days away.
50 yards. Nothing to be proud of, Russ.
What?
I was just quoting a movie. You probably spark notes it once.
Is it Jurassic Park? I haven't seen Jurassic.
Nah, it's called Vacation.
Clay Travis would recommend it.
Park. Why was this? I just.
If Clay Travis told you to watch Vacation, would you watch it?
amazing.
He should do movie reviews.
I do love
The Clay
look,
Travis movie
I
of the
don't-
week.
I
Too
don't-
weird for me.
I don't-
Wild things.
I want to make it
This
very
is
clear. I want to make this very clear when I say this. I'm not a fan of this person. I don't agree with their politics.
You're
or anything
denouncing
like that.
Clay Travis.
No. But have you ever seen Alex Jones's description of Star Wars?
Oh.
Like, have you ever?
No,
seen
but I
him-
would pay money for it.
Oh no, we can all admit that
It
some of the
is-
things that these people say are hilarious.
It is his description of Star Wars and relating it to geopolitics is one of the greatest videos of all time. He's like, you have this little unknown senator, all right, Palpatine, right, and essentially he funds terrorists. It's great.
You have just received a picture of Mike Schaefer at the Kentucky Derby, Matt. I don't know that Josh has, but
I feel like you're
I
gonna
have
look
as
like
well.
you know the
Okay, good.
president of the Hall of Fame of the Football Hall of Fame, David Baker.
No.
Okay.
You heard he went and knocked on everybody's door.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy.
The giant
Oh
guy.
my god! Oh my god! Holy crap! You don't have a beard.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
Lord.
never get rid of that beard.
I know.
Lord.
There's a reason that basically that was the last year that I haven't had a beard. We're
You
coming
look
up on
like
10 years
you
here.
look like Richard Jewell. You look the guy who
Oh
played
my
Richard
God.
Jewell.
Oh my
I've
god.
gotten that.
Oh my
That's
god.
who you look. He
Yeah.
looks exactly like the guy who played Richard Jewell.
Yeah, no, Walter Paul Hauser.
Yeah.
Walter
Yeah,
Hauser,
yeah.
No, I've gotten that comparison before. The problem with
Oh,
that one
my
is he's
Lord.
like 5'5". So
You
Oh,
have,
he's a short guy.
He's
you,
pretty
wait,
short.
you have a pinky ring on in this?
no, shouldn't.
Oh, okay. What is that though? Is that just your cuff sticking out? What is
Could
that?
just be the cuff of the,
Okay. I thought you had a pinky ring on.
I don't
That'd
think
be
I've ever
awesome.
worn a pinky ring.
You should wear a pinky ring. That'd
I
be a
can-
power
I can look
move.
into it.
Can you imagine you in a pinky ring?
Not really, no.
Nice little red
Really might
ruby.
tie the whole thing
I never
together.
thought
Yeah,
I'd
it
be someone
would.
that would like just wear their wedding ring all the time, but that's somehow
You know what? You put
managed to
if
happen.
you put a bolo tie on, you would look like a auctioneer. You know,
could
if
be.
you put like a bolo tie, I could see Mike being 1,000, 1,000, 1,050. We got 1,050, 1,050. We got 100.
Mike wears a lot of hats.
That's a great hat. Do you still have that hat?
I don't know if I have that hat specifically. I have that was like a promotional Stella Artois hat.
Nice.
So
nice.
yeah,
Stella.
I took that off of it, like the little pin thing that they put on. And
Who's
so
the
that way it
guy
just
to the
looks-
left? Who are you taking a
He's
picture
a friend of mine. He's now here in Omaha, but at that time in his life, he was
of?
living
He
in
clearly was
Louisville.
not making good decisions.
No,
I mean,
he was training to be a professional wrestler at that time.
Really?
He was wrestling at OVW.
He was wrestling at Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So His name's Bud Dwight. You can look him up.
He's not tall enough, but I could see. I mean,
He's like 6'3",
oh, that's good enough.
so he's not that short.
I guess
Mike Schaefer's pretty tall.
I'm underestimating how tall you are.
Yeah,
No, this guy would kill me. If he had abs, he'd have the look.
Schaefer, what's
Did
the
he
name of
have
the
abs?
what's the name of the drink you were drinking?
A sangria.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
That was a sangria. He's drinking a sangria.
Guessing that's what it was.
It looks a little bit more springtimey than that. You know?
There's something more springtimey than a sangria.
Well, sangria is like wine based. You know, like I'm looking at some pink in there. You know.
You know what? I went to the Creighton Bluejay baseball game, which, by the way, hilarious. You didn't know I was at the game.
I had no idea. How would I know?
Because I thought that you would only think that I would know what was going on if I was at the
I figured
game.
you were watching a lovely broadcast.
No, I would never.
That's why you were texting.
The only time I would be
What
watching
did Clay
Creighton
Travis
baseball.
think about the game?
He thought that them having bases loaded with nobody out and only getting one run in the ninth inning was very disappointing.
It's pretty unfortunate. Yeah.
You know, our guy though got to walk though. He
Match.
walked.
Were you?
Well, that's why
were
they
you
call him
heckling them
Walksman.
about their
Walksman.
diets?
What?
Were you heckling them about their diets?
He was texting me and saying that they were all stunk and they smelled literally and figuratively.
There was a camera that was on a guy was up to bat and there was a camera pointing at the dude at the bat. And I thought it'd be really funny if I started heckling like into the camera while he was like,
that is where we get our sound from.
I
Yes.
can't remember which conference tournament it was, but some guy you can hear singing in the background during free throws. You can hear him singing like Iris from the Goo Goo Dolls.
So they did that
It's an
again.
amazing moment.
They did that again and he sung Creed. They were singing Creed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
happened. It was part 2 yesterday.
You know what conference tournament that was?
Was it Starch Madness?
I don't remember. I've
I
seen
think it was
recently.
Starch Madness.
I'd have to look it back up. I got the text on it.
I love a good tiny conference tournament.
You like the itty bitty baby
But I also love the Big East.
Yeah, we've heard.
Are we ready for Providence St. John's?
I'm ready. We have the Virginia Derby this week. It's going to be great.
What will you be watching at 11 o'clock? When conference tournaments start, what will you be watching at 11 o'clock?
This guy doesn't
Today?
turn the TV on.
Oh, you don't care about the TV?
No, I put on what he
Speaking of, Miami of Ohio has been on for 20 minutes.
That's
and we
true.
failed to put this on.
Whoa.
What will you be watching, Josh? What would you like to watch on your television?
I don't know the schedule today.
There's all the high majors
yeah.
start at 11 or 11:30.
But in between, you can put on Miami of Ohio,
Let's see,
Bruce Pearl's least favorite.
We
team.
do have an ability to have a quad box on. So I will just tell you right now, we will be watching Miami of Ohio. Well, we can't watch that on the quad box.
ESPN Plus,
We will be watching
which you can
Iowa.
find Creighton baseball on
We will watch
With Connor
Iowa.
Happer.
with Connor Happer.
We will watch Iowa, Ohio State. We will watch NC State, UVA. And then we will wait.
Why are you not saying
We'll watch Providence St. John's.
thank you?
And then we'll put on Kentucky, Missouri. But as soon as no, actually, we won't put on Kentucky, Missouri because we'll put on Iowa State, Texas Tech.
I was going to say,
That's,
that's like
that's
the
the
best
best
game
one.
of the entire
Yeah.
day.
That is going to be awesome. Louisville, Miami actually would be not better than Iowa State, Texas Tech. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying Louisville, Miami is actually a very interesting game.
Fade Louisville at every turn.
Ooh.
That's always the
I
winner.
saw them. I watched that Clemson game they played.
I thought SMU
What,
were
that
gonna-
was 2
would
weeks
win
ago?
last night.
They looked terrible in that game. By the way, I haven't seen that before.
Pat
where
Kelsey and his weird glasses.
you're very anti Pat Kelsey.
It's
after
funny.
the-
I love it.
He
it's
sucks.
So anti Pat Kelsey.
He sucks.
Because yes, he forgot to guard Ryan Colton.
That's a big mistake. Literally and
It's not even
figuratively.
that hard to guard Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Really?
People do it all the time.
Yeah, Derek Walker
who's
was
Yeah.
really good at it.
Yeah.
Derek Walker, Braxton Mia, Andrew Morgan.
That's
These
what I'm
are
saying.
NBA players.
Just imagine if this
You didn't even score a
God
field
send
goal.
of a coach
You were-
just forgot
Do
to
you
do
think-
it.
Do you think we'll ever forget those 3 weeks of Andrew Morgan?
No.
I've already forgotten.
Those
Probably
three
not.
beautiful weeks of Andrew
He was
Morgan,
pretty good.
where you're overall he was pretty good, but he had that 3 week stretch where you're like, oh my God, he's the answer. Like this is
Oh, I don't
This
know that
is
I
the-
ever said that he was the answer.
This
what
is-
a
they
ridiculous
I don't know that
thought.
I've ever
they
asked.
were
I
during
don't
their
think I've
five,
ever asked a question where
during
that
their
was the answer.
5-game win streak, which firmly put them back in control to make the tournament. The year they didn't make the tournament because they lost 5 games.
Most
in a
years
row.
of their existence.
But this last year in particularly, that 5-game winning streak, he was awesome.
I was a big fan of Andrew Morgan. I just didn't think he was any good. You know, like there's a difference.
Fine, good.
You
I think
know.
he's fine.
He's a reasonable college basketball player.
perfect-
I think
fine.
that is a great way of describing it.
Yeah.
The perfectly fine,
He's a
don't
less
even call him a
likable
starter.
Josiah Alec.
Yeah.
I
Just
never
saying,
had to
Alec wasn't
compare.
really likable.
Well, because Nebraska fans loved
They did.
They love Josiah.
He's fine. I don't know that I loved Josiah Alec. I don't look back on that team and think a lot about Josiah Alec.
I
see a lot of him in his fur coat.
I saw him walking around.
Weird.
We lived in the same area in college, and
Did he stink?
No, he actually didn't. I'm not going to act.
He
as if-
smelled like roses.
I see. I didn't.
Interesting.
I'm not saying that, but that dude never wore a t-shirt. He was always in like a tank top.
Ugh. Somebody just sent me a picture of Pat Kelsey. His glasses and his tattoos.
The disgust. What? You don't like tattoos?
Just you tell me. What do you think? What do you
I think he's cool. I think he looks like army
he looks like he's about to do a TikTok.
he looks like the bad guy from
did you
Justin
say-
Hammer. You know Justin Hammer? Who plays him in Iron Man? Who plays Justin Hammer in Iron Man?
Like Mickey Rourke.
No.
Sam Rockwell?
Yes, he looks like Sam Rockwell.
He does look like Sam Rockwell in this picture. You're right.
He looks exactly like Sam Rockwell.
He puts those big glasses on.
All right, I'm going to say Happy New Year.
Wow.
Happy New Year. The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair and Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Middays with Matt. A shortened version of Middays with Matt is coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt, live and rolling here on a Thursday. Shortened version of Middays with Matt today. We'll be wrapping it up at 1 o'clock. It sends you straight to Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world, as the Creighton Bluejays take on the Seton Hall Pirates at 1:30. John Bishop will be on the call. He'll have your pregame beginning at 1. We'll then lead into what I'm assuming is a shortened version of unsportsmanlike conduct, so no crossover between Josh Peterson and myself today. Matt McMaster, joined as always by Josh Odson, bringing you a 3-hour edition of MWM. Should be a good one today. Conference tourneys in full swing. Josh and I are preparing our quad boxes here in a little bit for what should be some exciting action across the country. At 11 o'clock, we're going to have Iowa tip off against Ohio State. NC State, not really on the bubble anymore. Like they're pretty secure in the tournament, but definitely a higher seed taking on Virginia, who's still fighting for better seed. And Virginia having a good year, 27-4 in the season currently, according to Bracket Matrix. Box could be a 4. Providence takes on St. John's. The winner of that game will take on the winner of Creighton versus Seton Hall. And then Kentucky plays Mizzou at 11:30. And then probably the game of the day going on to ESPN starting at 11:30, Iowa State and Texas Tech. A whole slew of other games going on as well today. We'll give you kind of that entire recap and definitely what to watch on our final segment of the show. At 12:15, we're going to have on Lauren Michelson from KETV, moving her up from her 1:15 spot. And then at 11, we're hoping to have on Steve Sipple. He was there yesterday at Matt Rule's press conference. He was also there at the open practice that occurred 2 days ago. So we're going to get Sip's thoughts on everything that was said by Rule, that was said by Quasi Gilmer, who was at the stand yesterday, who, according to all indications and all reports and everything that I've been reading and a little of the things that I've been hearing, not acting as if I have all the sources in the world. I definitely don't. But the little tidbits have always been good about Quasi. So we'll hear Stephen M. Sipple's thoughts. We'll also give you our thoughts on the college basketball, everything that's going on. Bubbles got bursted yesterday. Some bubbles I was happy to see get bursted.
A 7th-seeded Idaho team making the NCAA tournament will do that.
By the way, Lehigh making the NCAA tournament, first off, it's the first time they made the tournament since 2012. Lehigh, one of the, I feel like a Cinderella darling, if you will, upset darling of just people's 2000s childhoods, if you will, making it back to the tourney. So congratulations to them. They won their conference tournament yesterday out of the Patriot League. They will be a 16 seed, by the way. So probably not going to be a darling this year, but Lehigh back in it. So some bubbles got bursted yesterday. I was not happy to see Cincinnati lose to UCF. It was our dog of the day.
Dog.
Great get by us. We probably should start keeping track now.
Now that
I'm going to be real with you. I think dog of the day, if I had to guess. Now, here's the thing. This is just out of pure laziness. I said in like week 1, I would keep track of it. We've now done like 60 shows, probably something like that. It'd be too much to go back and keep track of. I would say that I'm probably down like $100.
You owe Plattcat a mortgage payment.
I don't owe him a mortgage payment. I didn't mean that seriously. I did think, though, that the Cats were either going to lose in the first round or make a mini run. And they definitely making a little run, baby. It would be, I'm going to be real with you, Middays with Matt, live from the United Center on the heels of a Northwestern Nebraska ball Big Ten tournament game would feed families. For those wondering, obviously, would Matt wear purple? Would Matt wear red? Where did I graduate? Get out of here. Get out of here. Now my father would be wearing purple. He's very excited for that game. So,
will your father be on the show if it's Nebraska Northwestern tomorrow?
I don't know, but we might have some special guests that will be I know some people who will be gallivanting the United Center press area.
Can't wait to hear from Berkay Buchanan jail tomorrow.
No, he's not going to come up to the press box.
Why not?
Everyone would be like, that's not a... You think if Berkay Buchanan walked into the press area, people are like, oh, yeah, that's definitely a credentialed media member. No, absolutely not. If there was a Matt Foster, formerly of KETV, who now works for Kansas City, would like walk around in the press area at Nebraska sporting events, and you would be like, that guy was an athlete. You're like, if Matt Foster didn't have a credential and he was just walking around, I would be convinced that he was like the 11th guy on like Indiana's basketball roster. That dude was tall and lean. Berkay Buchanan would stick out like a sore thumb amongst all us grimy 5'9" media members. So no, he will not be up there. But we'll have a fun time tomorrow in the press area of the United Center. Middays with Matt live from the Big Ten tourney tomorrow. Can't wait to bring you guys that. Bubbles got bursted. Cincinnati, see ya. You know what? Wes Miller thought he was a clown after the West Virginia game, going ahead being like, hey, I'm sorry. This is on me. This is unacceptable. I'm like, what are you trying to accomplish, man? You're going to lose your job. They went on a run, man. They went on a run. They should not have lost yesterday. Had a 9-point lead with under 3 minutes to go. 3 straight turnovers in a row. Blew that game. Terrible time, last play to end regulation, and then UCF ends up winning it in that one. Look, if we're going off of, and I thought he handled his press conference really well, and I think he said the absolute correct thing. If we were putting in the best 68 teams right now, we're putting in the best 68 teams, the Cincinnati Bearcats should be in the NCAA tournament. But we don't determine who's in the NCAA tournament off of the last 3 weeks of the season. We determine who's in the NCAA tournament. We don't. We determine based off of November and what you've done and everything that you've accomplished in a season. Cincinnati is 18-15. And despite the fact that from February 5th to now, they've only lost 3 games, and one of them they should have won yesterday. They won't be in the tourney. They made a good run, though. We'll see if he keeps his job. TBD on that one. I was not happy to see Cincinnati's bubbles get burst. I wasn't. I like teams who go on runs. Indiana, though. I love seeing that. I love seeing the hosers get their bubbles burst. I do. I thought, 7 wins in a row for Chris Collins over whoever is the Indiana head coach. Could be Woodson, could be Miller, could be DeVries. Don't matter. You could have a DeVries, you could have a Skis, you could be in the breeze. Cats in 5. Burst the bubble of the Hoosiers, send them packing. We're gonna talk about Indiana. We're gonna talk about Indiana basketball and some similarities between a program that resonates right here, that resides right here in this state. Is Indiana basketball just Nebraska football on like wood?
You're hearing it more and more.
Is Indiana basketball just wooden Nebraska football? Some people are asking. It is a poll question Thursday. You're on Middays with Matt. That'd be a good poll question. Wink, wink. Oklahoma trending toward the tournament. I told you, Josh Otson, and don't you dare say you forgot this. I told you if there was going to be a little, if I could see somebody stealing a bid in the Power 5, I said this. I thought Oklahoma could do it. People made a lot of jokes after that popcorn fire happened. All right?
Yeah, they did.
That popcorn fire happened, and there were a lot of jokesters out there.
That was a real rager.
But since that popcorn fire, the Oklahoma Sooners are 6-2. They're 18-14, and with Indiana losing, Cincinnati losing, Texas losing, there's some stressful Sundays coming. And the one team that's turning out some victories and saving their head coach's job potentially are the Oklahoma Sooners. They could be dancing in the tournament. Probably not through a resume. It's probably a little bit too late. I did remind you, they literally lost every game from January 4th to February 4th.
And could still get in the tournament.
They lost 9 games. That's how bad this bubble is, by the way. John Rothstein went live today at 10 a.m. Obviously, I didn't tune in, but I saw his headline, which was, "This is the worst bubble of all time," which is crazy because we said the same thing last year about last year's bubble. And yet we have idiots like Seth Davis who want to add more teams to the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry. I don't need to see Nepo baby Stephen Pearl and the Auburn basketball team in the NCAA
I'm sorry,
tournament.
just a quick little bit of pushback there on what Seth Davis's opinion is on expanding the NCAA tournament.
Oh, go ahead. Please push back.
His opinion is that everyone wants the NCAA tournament expanded.
Oh, is that
Yes.
That's Josh, I'm so glad you said that because that's even stupider.
Yeah,
that's even more incorrect.
That's why I brought it up.
That's incredible. That's why we work so well together. Even bigger idiot than once before, Seth Davis. Seth Davis, you're dead to us.
Whoa. Tough but fair.
Tough. That's what we are on the dead to us list. We are tough, but we are fair. And because we are fair, we're going to remove somebody from the dead to us list.
Whoa. Okay, this is fun.
PFF, no longer dead to us.
Oh, okay. I see what's happening here.
No longer dead to us. We're also going to remove one more person.
John P?
No. Oh. You know what? Screw it. We're not removing. I was going to get rid of Puxatawny Phil. Screw that guy.
No. Yeah.
Screw that guy. Because you know what I was going to say? Oh, he said that it was going to be longer winter, but it's actually been, kind of springy recently. But the fact that he was wrong, but he made us stress that we had more winter, he stays on the dead list. But PFF off. John P is a clown. He stays on.
Okay.
Because he sent me the same message back. He didn't even apologize for anything. He wasn't even thoughtful about
John, how could you?
I know. The guy sucks. Firm but fair is what we are on the dead to us list. So being added to Seth Davis. So anyway, we have some great college basketball games on today. We're going to talk about Kyler Murray. We're trending toward him becoming a Minnesota Viking. How do we feel about that? What do we think, Minnesota Vikings fans? I love it for Minnesota if this ends up happening. I thought it would have been a very big mistake if the Minnesota Vikings, after having a really good defense last season, were to trade Jonathan Grenard and completely give up on it. But they're not. They're going to sign Kyler Murray. They might be a sneaky team in the NFC next season. We'll see if their offense can pick it up another level. They still have weapons. I would love, I would hate this. I would hate for it to happen as a Chicago Bears fan. But as like a fan of the NFL, if the Vikings, and maybe Mike Schaefer is listening right now, so he can text me if he agrees. If somehow the Vikings got Kenyon Sadiq in the first round, I mean, that offense would feed families. Kenyon Sadiq, Addison, Justin Jefferson. And then if you had Kyler Murray, who I'm not saying Kyler Murray is great. I'm saying he's great, but I think he'd definitely be better than what they had last season. And J.J. McCarthy, who, when he's healthy, isn't very good, but he's often rarely healthy. So that's somehow even worse. I know that a lot of people, though, in Minnesota probably want Logan Jones, the center out of Iowa. It'd be pretty high to draft center out of Iowa at 18. At the same time, probably played that position for a very, very, very long time. So we will talk about the Minnesota Vikings. We will talk about Kyler Murray. We'll talk about Nebraska football. Matt Rule spoke at the podium yesterday. We'll talk about Nebraska football from a couple different angles. We'll talk about what Matt Rule said yesterday. We'll talk about the fact that Nebraska athletes are challenging the College Sports Commission. That's very big in the national news. Had some great interviews yesterday between unsportsmanlike conduct and Ross Dellinger, who went ahead and published that article on Yahoo Sports. So I encourage you to go and listen to that one. We did not talk about it here on Middays with Matt because it's kind of confusing, and I didn't really have a whole lot of takes on it. Now we have minor takes, mini takes, if you will, mini takes, we'll call them, on the clearinghouse and what Nebraska football athletes specifically are challenging. Also, too, the Big Ten wrote a long letter to the NCAA saying, please don't punish us for tampering. How the turntables, if you will. Because the Big Ten for years was like, the SEC is cheating. They can't keep getting away with this. And then now, like, the Big Ten is cheating. And they're writing to the NCAA, please don't punish us. Please don't. Please don't. So we got a lot to hit today. College basketball, Husker football, Indiana basketball, Kyler Murray, Minnesota Vikings, Going to be a great show. Lauren Michelson at 12:15. Stephen M. Sipple, hypothetically, in theory. Oh, Sip is texting us. He goes, yes, we are good. Can we push to noon? All right, we'll push Steve Sipple to noon. So we'll have Steve Sipple on at 12. Then we'll have
Horse
Lauren
crap call.
No, it's not horse crap. We're just going to stack interviews. We can discuss this. Well, no, it's fine. We'll have 11:45.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that's fine.
We're okay.
That's absolutely
we're okay.
fine.
We're okay. We're okay. It's fine.
Makes it a 2-hour show for us, buddy.
It does make it a 2-hour show. Let's get lock and loaded, Josh Hodson. Middays with Matt, starting after the break.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Miami's up 39-37 right now. Should we do a MAC update?
The people are definitely clamoring for it.
Okay, here we go. We will go to the Mid-American Conference here on the CBS Sports app, which, yes, by the way, you are totally correct. Everybody I know, first off, everybody I've talked to, I've gotten them on the CBS Sports app. It is an awesome app. It is perfect. It tells you the spreads. It tells you the over-unders. It tells you what TV station that these games are on. Like, I know that right now, if I were to go to the top 25, I know that at 1:30 on ESPN2, Louisville is taking on Miami. Miami's a 1.5 favorite in the over-under, and that game is 151.5. All on the app. I love it. So let's go to the Mid-American Conference here. We'll give you our Mid-American Conference 1620 The Zone update. UMass currently trailing by 2 in the first half between Miami of Ohio, the 1 seed and favorite of the Mid-America Conference tournament with an undefeated 31-0 record. The second game of the MAC tournament starts off at 12:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus as Bowling Green takes on Toledo. The Rockets are a 1.5-point favorite, and that one at 3 o'clock, Buffalo takes on Akron. And to wrap up the first round of the Mid-American Conference tourney at 5:30, Ohio takes on Kent State, the 3 seed, who's a 4.5-point underdog. For your MAC Conference Tournament update, I'm Matt McMaster with 1620 The Zone.
Good stuff.
Thank you. That's like a party trick that I have now. You know, it's like a
For 1620 The Zone.
like give me any conference tournament schedule right in front of me right now and the CBS Sports app, and I can make you an update. Matt McUpdate, if you will. Oh, don't forget, if you want to tweet at us, you can go to the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed, baby. Hell yeah. Love our new sponsor. Great people. You know, I did kind of feel left out, though, because everyone was given a hat and unsportsmanlike conduct. And I was there at the tee box, and I wasn't given a hat.
Well, they probably didn't know.
Come on.
You were going to be there.
Viking Husker 16 tweets in.
Hi, Viking.
At Matt McMedia. Speaking of Billy Joel and Connor loving Billy Joel, the scene at the Catalina Wine Mixer in Step Brothers is one of the funniest Billy Joel references of all time.
We only do 80s Joel, sir.
It's the Catalina Wine Mixer. I always wanted to be a dinosaur. Grow up, Billy. By the way, somebody got at me for watching PTI. Is PTI an old man thing now?
Definitely. Yes.
Does no one watch Part of the Interruption anymore?
I record it every single day just in case, LeBron James is assassinated or something.
Whoa! Why is that your example?
I would want to know everyone's opinion on the subject.
By the way, yesterday's topics on PTI were wild. It went Max Crosby before Bam Adebayo, which I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Well, Kornheiser and Wilbon are going to do what they want. They're not going to serve ESPN or any of the deals that they have. They're going to talk about what they want to talk about. I thought it was very telling, by the way, that Crosby was the topic before Adebayo scoring 83 points. And then they talked about Shaq, and then under Shaq, it was Rich Hill.
Your friend?
My dear friend, Rich Hill, who loves Omaha and definitely will be back in Omaha a lot.
I hope he isn't.
He's not?
I hope he's in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think he wants to be in Kansas City. I don't think he wants to be back here. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, I think.
The goal is to play in the big.
Yeah, that's definitely the entire reason he doesn't want to be a storm chaser again. And it has nothing to do with the storm chasers and everything to do with Rich Hill, the city, if you will. All right. The MAC is going on currently at 11 o'clock. The Ohio State Buckeyes, Edith Happer, will take on the Iowa Hawkeyes at 11 o'clock. And then we have at 11:30. I'm really just fired up for this Texas Tech Iowa State game. I can't quit Iowa State. I'm also now, we have to go back and revisionist take. I have to find when I said that Oklahoma could go and steal a bid in the SEC because they are 6-1 in their last 7 games, playing really, 5-1 in their last 6 games. Really, really good basketball. Granted, don't look at who they beat in those 6 games. All right, don't look at that, but look at the fact that they're playing really good basketball, inspired basketball, trying to save their head coach's job. So it is conference tourney day. All of the power conference tourneys are playing at 11 o'clock. We will be at a conference tourney tomorrow, Middays with Matt, at the Big Ten tournament in Chicago at the United Center, giving you all of the updates. I believe we'll have the 1 seed game going on while we are on the air. So that should be very, very, very exciting. A quick little update from yesterday into today. Like we told you, a lot of games going on. Texas Tech versus Iowa State is definitely the game to watch. That's our kind of your main event of the day, if you will. Another big game going on right now, Miami of Ohio up 2 over UMass. But then UCF versus Arizona will be an interesting game. UCF basically locked themselves in the NCAA tournament yesterday, but could maybe jump up another seed line if they ended up defeating the number 1 team in the Big 12, Arizona, who's 29-2 and a 16.5 point favorite today. Another game that a lot of Nebraska fans will have their eyes on is Northwestern versus Purdue. That tips off at 5:30 on BTN. Winner of that game will play Nebraska tomorrow in game 1 for the Huskers in the Big Ten tournament. Other bubble things to watch. Really not a whole lot of bubble games, but we'll go ahead and we'll talk about. What do we want to talk about? You know what? Let's talk about a team getting their bubble burst yesterday, why it was so glorious, and why they compare to a football program here in Nebraska. Coming up next on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, games across the country about to tip off here in college basketball. I'm going to hand the remote to Josh Hodson because I'm probably like the worst manager of a TV of all time.
You're so locked in, you don't care about what's.
But this is
on
even
behind
this
you.
even
That's a good
happens at home though.
Oh, really?
Like
okay.
you can ask Dan, my roommate. He gets really annoyed when I have the remote controls. Like I have to hand him the remotes, and he has to manage the volume and.
Whoa.
You know, like we're on a quad box. There's always like one game that goes to commercial. And if you're attentive, you just switch to the next game. So you get volume and like the play-by-play announcers as opposed to staying on the commercial. I'm not good at doing that. So
do we want something specific? Do we want this Miami game?
no, we have the YouTube TV. We can use the quad box.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you want me to build a quad?
Build a quad. I want to see you build a quad. This is a real character building. You don't really know the type of man you're dealing with.
That's a good point.
Until they build a quad box right in front of you.
What the hell channel is this Miami of Ohio game?
It's on ESPN Plus. You can't add it on the quad.
Damn.
Can't be a part of the quad.
ESPN has 1 million channels.
Your test scores, your ACT scores weren't high enough. Can't join this quad. Can't join a party. You can't be a part of Selleck. Gotta have the 37 ACT to do that. You want to be a part of Selleck. If you know, you know.
All right, everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to build a quad.
Build a quad. Build a nice quad. Put a Chick-fil-A in there. Put a Steak and Shake in there. Maybe a Qdoba or two. Be incredible stuff. Let's talk about somebody's team, a team who's got their bubble bursted last night that I was so happy to see. The Indiana Hoosiers fell to the Northwestern Wildcats. Indiana, a favorite going into that game. Needed to win to continue to build up their NCAA tournament resume, which is without a doubt teetering on the bubble of making it to the postseason in March. Lost yesterday to Northwestern. Chris Collins has Indiana's number, regardless of who is coaching the Indiana Hoosiers, whether it be Mike Woodson or Darren DeVries. Chris Collins has defeated Indiana 7 times in a row. The Northwestern Wildcats win 2 Big Ten tournament games. Will play tonight against Purdue. The winner of that game between the Boilermakers and the Wildcats will play Nebraska tomorrow at 5:30. And Indiana basketball, and I've had this conversation. I want to shout this person out because we've had this conversation for the last 18 months. And I just feel like now, after they hired Darren DeVries, and Darren came in and brought Tucker, who's a really good basketball player for both Drake and West Virginia, and added a lot through the transfer portal. Indiana was looking to make the NCAA tournament right away to immediately have a postseason berth and get things rolling, right? And I think the strategy, and I think it was a thought. I don't blame Darren DeVries for trying to build his team this way, but I think the strategy was, look, we need to get this fan base reinvigorated right away. We need to get this fan base believing in what we can do here in Bloomington immediately. We need them to hop on and be like, all right, we need a quick start. We need to make the NCAA tournament. We need to compete in the NCAA tournament, maybe win an NCAA tournament game, and then start building momentum, right? I just don't think with Indiana and how impatient that fan base, by the way, rightfully so, is based on their history. I just don't think you could have a slow build with the Hoosiers. And also, too, a lot has to be said about the football program putting a ton of pressure on the Indiana basketball program, right? Indiana is supposed to be a basketball school. Indiana is supposed to be a team that is consistently making the NCAA tournament, that is consistently in the top 25, that is consistently, competing to be in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Their football team just won the national championship, and nothing threatens a school's identity more than when you're a basketball school and all of a sudden the football team starts to turn it on. And so Indiana basketball, definitely, even though Darren DeVries just got hired under the gun for immediate success, with how just rabid that fan base is and how just much it's yearning for a winner, came up short yesterday. And just straight up, they came up short this season. They had that big win in Bloomington against Purdue, deja vu from last year, right? They were kind of bordering on whether or not they were going to make the NCAA tournament, and they beat Purdue, and it was like, wow, this is a big win. This is something that is going to build momentum for them to make the tourney. And they did it again this year, albeit at home this time. And you're thinking, okay, here, like they're building something, like they're trending in the right direction. Like this is kind of what you thought it would be under Darren DeVries. And then they go 1-6 or 1-6 in their last 7 games. And they, very well could end up falling short of the NCAA tournament. According to yesterday, they were the last team in, according to the Big Ten Network's own projections. So we will see what happens to Indiana come Selection Sunday. I think they're going to end up being out. Now, they did get help by the fact that a lot of other bubble teams, Texas lost, Cincinnati lost, SMU lost yesterday. So maybe that helps them in the long run. But I just can't help but look at Indiana basketball and think of Nebraska football. I can't help but look at that program and where that program is at and think, are they really a blue blood? Or did they just have one really long run with a great head coach? And now there are differences between Nebraska football and Indiana basketball. And I actually think it looks much worse for Indiana basketball than it does for Nebraska football. We'll get into those details. But I just have to, because I spent a lot of time today and the similarities between the two programs are insane. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And there's even like weird similarities even after Bobby Knight left Indiana and Tom Osborne left Nebraska. So in Bobby Knight's 29 seasons in Indiana, they missed the tournament 4 times. And his last 15 years in Bloomington, they went to the tournament. Overall, he won 3 national titles during his 29 years. In 26 years, since he was the head coach, Indiana has made the tournament only 12 times. In the last 26 years, Indiana's made the tournament 12 times. The last 15 years, Bobby Knight was the head coach. They made the tournament every year. They had a 100% postseason rate in the final years of the final 15 years of Bobby Knight as the head coach there. In the last 26 years, they've only made the tournament 12 times. They've made the finals once in those 26 seasons since Bobby Knight has left. And they've only made the Sweet 16 3 times. The last 10 seasons, they've had 4 head coaches. They've made the postseason 3 times, only 1 Sweet 16. And I can't tell you, remember that number. 10 seasons, 4 head coaches, 3 postseasons. Okay? Last 10 years, 4 head coaches, 3 postseasons. Let's go to Nebraska football. 25 seasons of Tom Osborne. I don't need to tell you guys this. Everybody listening to this knows this, right? 25 seasons of Tom Osborne, 3 national championships, 83.6% win percentage, 49-2 in the last 51 games, never lost to the state of Kansas, never finished a season unranked, 3 weeks in the Tom Osborne era where they weren't ranked in the AP poll. You guys know the numbers. 14-10 win seasons. Okay? Since Tom Osborne has left, Nebraska has had 6 10-plus win seasons. They've had 1 12-win season, 1 11-win season. For Nebraska football, in the last 10 years, they've had 4 head coaches, 3 postseason appearances, 1 year with 9+ wins. It's the exact same as Indiana. The exact same. Last 10 years, both programs, basketball program, football program, have made the postseason 3 times and have had 4 head coaches. Here's even crazier. What did I tell you about Indiana basketball? There was one thing I flipped over, right? They had one final. They made 1 national final since Bobby Knight left Indiana, right? They made 1 final. And Nebraska football has had 1 12-win season and 1 11-win season since Tom Osborne left. Why am I bringing that up? Well, that final that they made was 2 years after Bobby Knight left Indiana, meaning you still kind of had the aura of Indiana basketball when they made that final. You still kind of had, Bobby Knight and the things that he had done and the things he had established in the 29 seasons there. You still had that reciprocating and marinating in Indiana basketball. That 12-win season, everyone knows this. That 12-win season for Nebraska football since Tom Osborne was 2 years after Tom left. That 11-win season was 4 years after Tom left. So the peak of success that Nebraska football has had and Indiana basketball has had, they both happened very briefly after you had Bobby Knight and Tom Osborne in those programs. You still had the things that Bobby did and the things that Tom did marinating within that athletic department. You still had guys who were recruited and picked by Bobby Knight and picked by Tom Osborne to be in those programs still there. It's crazy, the similarities between these two programs. In the last 10 seasons, they both have had 4 head coaches, and they both have only made the postseason 3 times.
I mean,
and the peak of success came right after those two guys left.
Bobby Knight hasn't coached in 18 years, which is conveniently the age of people walking onto campus.
Yes.
For the first time.
Yes. It's great. Like, from a numbers perspective, how like detailed we can get between how similar these programs are. It is two historic, proud, blue blood in a lot of people's eyes, basketball program and football program. And a lot of the fan base, a majority of the fan base remembers the glory days, remembers what it was like when they were at their peak, remembers what it was like when they were winning games. And yet they have endured so much of a lack of success to those expectations over the last 20 years. And here's another thing too that cannot be forgotten. There are young Indiana basketball fans who have only ever been told how good Indiana basketball used to be and are just rightfully probably getting annoyed about all the stories of what it was like and how and what you expect and what Indiana basketball can be. The same thing is happening to Husker football fans. There are a lot of young Husker football fans. I know too many of them who are annoyed. They're like, all I've ever been told is what we used to be. All I've ever been told is like how it was before I was born. All I've ever been told is what the expectations should be and why Nebraska football should accomplish this great thing. And yet year in and year out, they fail. So what happened? That's exactly what's happening with Indiana basketball. Now, I will give you this, though. I will say this. There are two pretty big differences between Nebraska football and Indiana basketball. Two pretty big differences. The first difference is Bob Devaney. Okay? The fact that Coach Devaney won 2 national titles, had multiple 10-win seasons, shows the proof of multiplicity. Shows the proof of, hey, multiple guys can come in here and win at Nebraska. You know, it's not just, you can't just say it was a strictly Tom thing, because Coach Osborne did win 3 national titles, but there was a guy before him who won 2. Okay? Now, was Tom there? Yeah. But Bob Devaney was the head coach. So Indiana doesn't have that. Indiana doesn't really have like a guy two before Bob Knight who proved that. Here's another thing, too. Indiana basketball didn't move conferences. Indiana basketball didn't have that massive change in the fabric of who they are, right? Like, Indiana basketball didn't move a conference, which negated them from recruiting or hurt them in recruiting one of their best states, right? One of the big reasons, and we've heard this from a lot of people as to why Nebraska has fallen to where they've fallen as well. They were out of the Big 12, hard to recruit back to, Texas, right? It's hard to recruit back to Texas if you're not in the Big 12. That didn't happen to Indiana. Indiana's been in the Big 10, okay? And Indiana, too, like, and this is a big thing for me when it comes to Nebraska basketball. Like, this is a fact. The best teams, the best players in the country from high school are in Florida, are in Georgia, they're in Louisiana, they're in the South, right? The SEC was so dominant for that period of time because they were very easily allowed to acquire that top talent. Nebraska just isn't in that part of the country. And geographically, it's hard for Nebraska, way more difficult for Nebraska to go to the South, to go to Georgia, to go to Louisiana, to go to Florida, to go and recruit those guys. It's hard. I mean, look how much it's taken for Nebraska football to break into Illinois, to break into Chicago, right? Ohio's got really good high school football. Illinois' got really good high school football. Missouri's got really good high school football. It's hard for Nebraska to do that. Indiana, from a basketball perspective, does not have those geographical barriers. Like, Indiana is still very much in a geographical place in basketball where they can get really, really good talent. Indiana, the state itself, has really good basketball talent. Illinois' got really good basketball talent. Hey, Wisconsin, kind of having a moment over the last 10 years in terms of the basketball talent that they've been producing, not only from college, but into the NBA as well. I mean, you don't have those excuses. With Nebraska football, you could say, well, they moved conferences, and geographically, it's hard to recruit high school talent that's so far away from you, right? The top high school talent is really far away from you. Indiana hasn't changed conferences, and Indiana is still very much in a geographical place where they can go and get top basketball talent. And I think college basketball right now, like, it's really hard to make money moves in football currently right now in this NIL age. If we've learned anything in this go-around of college basketball this season, it's just because you have more money doesn't mean that you can't win. You can be very effective with your dollars. We're seeing that with Nebraska basketball. And you can be very ineffective with your dollars. And we're seeing that with Kentucky basketball. So Indiana basketball and Nebraska football are weirdly similar. Like, weirdly. Like, it's strange. Like I told you, the 10 years, 4 coaches, 3 postseason appearances, identical. The peak of their success literally came right after Bobby Knight and Tom Osborne left. Right? But I don't think that Indiana basketball has that many excuses. I just think that the coaches that they've hired there, whether it be Woodson or Archie Miller, just haven't been able to handle the pressure that is being the Indiana basketball head coach. I think that being the pressure of being the Nebraska football head coach is very, very similar. Probably you can make the argument even more than being the Indiana football or Indiana basketball head coach. But I think with Nebraska football, you can point to, well, moving from the Big 10 to the Big 12 and not being able to get back into Texas has been tough for him. And, high school football talent is pretty far away from, like, top high school football talent is pretty far away from where Nebraska is. That's not the case for Indiana. Not the case at all. And it has been a tough first year for Darren DeVries. Coming up next here on Middays with Matt Rule, the head coach of Nebraska football, talked yesterday. Nebraska football also in news for other reasons. We will touch on all of that and more. And thank God for the Italians. Yeah. We talk about it here on a Midday on 1620.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Soul.
Okay, if there was one superpower I wish I had, it obviously would be super speed. I think that's
Obviously.
I mean, it's got to be. What if I could run like a 4.1840? That's immediately what I think of.
Oh, okay.
Or like,
Yeah.
what if I like could be a track guy? Could win a bunch of gold medals. Like, I would not use my super speed, guys. I wouldn't use my super speed to save people or anything. You kidding me? I would just use it for my own convenience.
Personal gain, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
1,000,000%.
Sure.
I'm super selfish. But I think what would come in a close second would be the ability to know when tickets will get cheapest.
Oh, and just
I wish I had that superpower of like, there's some people I know who are really good at it, who are like if you're a true sport fan, you know the art and science of knowing when to hold, knowing when to buy, knowing if the ticket prices will go up, knowing when the ticket prices will go down, determining whether or not, hey, are we good to buy it online, or do we rather go to the ticket box office, if you will, to go and buy them there? You know the struggles. You know the fear of like, oh, should I buy now? Should I buy later? Am I going to spend too much money on this ticket? Is this the perfect time to get a deal? Kenneth goes, it really is an art, Kenneth. It really is an art. And I'm admitting right here, I'm not very good at it. I know some people, Dave, shout out my friend Dave. He's awesome at it. He knows exactly like, hey, we got to go now. Now, some of it is it experience. Some of it is knowing demand. Some of it is understanding, is like weighing the waters of like, are people really interested in this? Will people get more interested? Will people get less interested? I just wish I had the superpower to go and know right away. Now, the reason why I bring this up is I'm currently looking at tickets. I'm not going to the NCAA tournament. I'm not. But for all of those people out there who are they're waiting to see where the Huskers are going to go, do you take the risk and try and guess where Nebraska is going to play and buy the tickets now? Or do you take the risk of, all right, I'm going to wait for Nebraska to get seated in a specific place, and then I'll buy the tickets later? Because with that, especially if they go to Oklahoma City or they go to St. Louis, those ticket prices are going to skyrocket. They're going to be insane. So do you buy ahead? Are you just the first one on the laptop on Selection Sunday? Are you playing the guessing game while Selection Sunday is going on? Are you going, all right, well, if the 3's here and the 3's there, that means it's got to be Tampa, or it's got to be Buffalo, or it's got to be Green. What do you do? So just for people out there, currently right now, if you want to buy all session tickets to Oklahoma City for the NCAA tournament, this is on SeatGeek. This is the only one where I could click on specifically, and it just tells me right away. $439 for all sessions in Oklahoma City. If you go, let's go to St. Louis, $494 for all sessions. So there you go. Just scouting it out for you. You want to buy now at $500? Play the risk of like, oh, guess Huskers aren't going to go there. You got to sell your ticket or buy somewhere else. Or you could be the genius that gets ahead of it, picks correctly, and then you don't have to pay as much, because I think those tickets will get up to like what, 700, 725.
If it's in that, like, I know we're talking about flights, but
Yeah.
if it's in those two drivable
It's going to be
cities,
so bad.
everything's gonna.
Now, if it's in Buffalo, I don't think it matters.
Right.
Placat goes, that's a steal, to be honest. I'm going to tell you how I would approach it. I think I would just buy the Oklahoma City session and go no matter what.
Isn't that kind of fun? Like trying to get ahead of it, and then all weekend, like, all right. Come on. Yes, it is.
And then here's what happened. Well, you're just describing gambling.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Just go to the roulette machine. You know?
Maybe I'll go to the casino this weekend.
Did you just describe responsible gambling?
I think I described irresponsible gambling.
Well, here's the thing. Here's why it's responsible. Let's say you don't get it right. Let's say they're not in Oklahoma City. Well, you know what? You still go to OKC. You still watch a bunch of NCAA tournament games. I've been to a round of 64, round of 32 session in Milwaukee at the Pfizer Forum. It was awesome. Iowa State was there, LSU was there, Yale was there, Purdue was there. Wisconsin played Colgate there. It was one of those where Wisconsin was playing in Milwaukee. I was obviously rooting against. I saw Iowa State beat the Wisconsin Badgers in Milwaukee. You know how sick that was? You know how awesome that is? I can't stand the Badgers. Let's go to we went to Ticketmaster. We could probably find maybe some better prices. That was SeatGeek. So I guarantee if you go to here, let's go to Ticketmaster, Oklahoma City, all sessions. So for Ticketmaster, accept and continue. I just want to do this real quickly. $450 for the cheapest tickets. If you want to sit in the 100 sections, it's $1,300. Oof. 200 is $976, and if you want to be in the bleeds, it's $496. That's just to get in. That's not even like getting a high quality seat. John goes, how do you skip right over the superpower of having X-ray vision? I don't. No, thank you. That and like super hearing too. I feel like that was more of an ailment against
super hearing would be great when you need it, but it would be awful.
It would be terrible. Just always hearing what everybody's saying. You know who's often hearing what a lot of people are saying? Matt Rule. Very in tune with that.
Matt Rule hears everything.
I mean, he hears a lot.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing, bud? Good to hear from you. We are. This is not Fire Matt Rule week. We're not the show that did.
We don't dabble in clickbait.
No, we don't.
Like the other shows. We keep it real.
Here's what we are. Matt McMaster and Josh Odson at Middays with Matt. We are the horniest show, just so you know, Coach Rule. We're the most progressive show, just so you know, Coach Rule. But we're also the most firm and fair show. All right?
Two of those three things, I'm guessing Matt Rule cares almost nothing about.
Deeply about. He cares that we're super progressive.
I'm going to guess he doesn't.
He's a girl dad. He's very
all right.
Very proud about that. Right? That's why we have This Week in Women's History getting pushed back to tomorrow at 12:45.
Tomorrow, everybody.
No Playboy models, Josh Odson.
I can't promise that. I didn't do that on purpose last week.
I still don't believe you. Look, Matt Rule knows his way around a microphone. Matt Rule knows what he's doing. Okay. He talked about yesterday about having a quiet, low-key spring. It was, I don't know if he's admitted before, but he definitely admitted it yesterday. I don't think anybody blames him. I think it's probably the best way to go about things after having the disappointing end that they had. I think it's very well-mannered, very focused. The right decision to just be like, yep, we're going to be quiet, float under the radar, get better at football, because that's what we need to do. I think that was very key. He said a lot of things without not saying a ton yesterday about certain players. I think Matt Rule, though, was very good about not saying a lot about the players, but explaining his philosophy. I think that's one of the better things he does. So, like, when you ask a question about a certain player, he won't necessarily tell you that, man, he did this in practice and that in practice, and he's getting, not anymore, at least. I mean, he used to, but nowadays he doesn't really go as deep into it. But then he'll tell you what a blue dot position is. And a blue dot position is putting a player in the best position possible for them to succeed.
Progressive Matt Rule, blue dot.
Yes, very much so. He understands his audience in Nebraska. The guy's always a couple steps ahead. Everything he says is intentional. So that's I think a skill that he has, where it's like, if you go, hey, how's Quasi looking? He's not going to be like, well, Quasi had this one-handed grab and he absolutely juked the crap out of Donovan. And by the way, none of this happened. This is just a hypothetical answer. But he won't say any of that. But what he'll tell you is that, hey, like the wide receiver room is a veteran room and it's deep and, they've progressed a lot. And, we added Billy Kemp and we've had to like go ahead and, build the culture, and the culture is built there now. And I like what Tequila is doing. Like he'll tell you that. He did have one, and I don't know if it's a slip up, because sometimes Matt Rule will jab the media. You got, and by the way, I'm not blaming him. You got to jab back a little bit. You got to fight back.
We're jabbable.
We're very jabbable. I love a good jab. You stick it nice and tight. You flick the wrist. You hit the nose. Can't have a power punch if you don't establish the jab. That's, rule number one. We'll talk to Steve Sipple about that at 12:15, the former silver glove boxer. Here's a quote from Matt Rule. I audibly chuckled at this. Okay? audibly was like, that's funny. Steve Merrick goes, hey, Coach Orich is talking about Donovan Jones, playing a little safety, playing a little nickel, what have you seen from DJ, everything like that. Matt Rule goes, Coach Orich ain't used to this media market yet. He keeps saying a lot. I try to tell him. That was funny. Like, RDC doesn't know yet not to tell you guys too many things. Okay. So
He'll learn. Which is,
but I will say this about that comment. People don't have a problem with Matt Rule because Matt Rule has said a lot or Matt Rule reveals a lot. People have a problem with Matt Rule because Matt Rule said a lot and then it didn't turn into the results that people wanted. If they had won that USC game last year, if they had won 8 games last year, if they had won 9 games last year, if they had, beaten Michigan at home, if they had gotten that signature holy crap win that put them at that 8-9 mark, which they should have been with the schedule that they've had, no one would be as negative.
Defense is going to be hell on wheels.
Yes, thank you. Quinn Ives is this and Quinn Ives is that, and and then we don't see him for the Akron game or unless it's the Akron game or the Houston Christian game. What were the words that were said for literally 2 years about Dylan Raiola? How great Dylan is. Oh, it's not 15's fault. Oh, everyone's got to play to his level. He even said at one time during a press conference, this was not last season, but the season before that, like people were like, oh, why didn't you throw it as much? Well, it wasn't because of Dylan, it was because of the other guys. Right? Like you say all those things about Dylan, and then Dylan doesn't progress the way that you wanted Dylan to progress. And then there definitely were some jabs thrown at the very end of that. And so it's like when Matt Rule says, why, the DC doesn't know this media market yet, he's telling you guys too much. No one's ever had a problem with Matt Rule telling us too much. If anything, we loved how open and honest and how Matt Rule would communicate to the fans and to the media. We loved that when he first got here. What happened was the games started to get played and they didn't win enough games. And now we kind of roll our eyes at some of the things that Matt Rule says because it's like, all right, great. You can, don't put sugar on a piece of crap and tell me it's a brownie. And that's how some people react to some of his words now because the results on the field have been there. So I found it funny that Matt Rule goes, well, Rob tells you too much. And I already told him about this media market. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, we're not taking your words and twisting them. We're taking what you've told us, and then we're trying to see if that happens on the field, and it hasn't happened on the field. You haven't dominated in the trenches. You were dynamic 1 year on special teams, and now that special teams coordinator is coaching at USC. Is it totally your fault? Probably not. But that's what we're viewing. That's what we're seeing. You told us that you wanted to rush for 75 yards in the fourth quarter. Have you done that? Have they done that once? Maybe in the Maryland game last year. But other than that, I cannot tell you off the top of my head the one time. The whole chasing three. We're chasing 3 points. You still lost a bunch of close games the year after that. So it's not as if you're telling us too much and we are just all the time twisting those words. You're telling us a lot and then those things aren't happening on the field. I think that's the main point of it all. We're going to have the odd news at 11:45. We're going to have Steve Sipple on at 12 o'clock. We'll have Lauren Michelson on at 12:15. We're going to give away some Hardy tickets. The country artist coming to the CHI Health Center in Omaha on March 21st. We'll give that out after the Lauren Michelson interview. It's going to be a short show today here on Middays with Matt because we're going to lead right into the Creighton basketball game with John Bishop at the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. Had some more updates on the Max Crosby situation. Diane Rossini went on the Dan Patrick show yesterday, called it shady. Woo! And then apparently Eric DeCosta of the Baltimore Ravens said they wanted to sign both Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby. Whoa. Get out of here. Get out of here. That did not happen. Did not happen. What's happening right now is conference tournament games all across the country. Currently, Ohio State leading Iowa. St. John's is up 20 over Providence, and NC State and Virginia are in a clash of the Titans. Is Miami of Ohio? Do we have a quick update on that? I don't have the score in front of me. Are they winning? Are they losing?
I can get it here.
They were
super
up.
quick.
They were up 2 after 20 minutes of play.
They're
against
up 9 with 8 minutes to go.
So Miami of Ohio, very much on their way to the semifinals of the Mid-American Conference, trying to get that automatic tournament bid, so we don't have to have an exhausting discussion of should they be an at-large bid. I don't want to have it. You don't want to have it. Bruce Pearl definitely doesn't want to have that. But what we want to have next is the odd news with Josh Odd's son coming up on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Oddson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh Oddson. Let me tell you what, man. Omaha Burke High School, man. Josh Oddson. Put him in the Hall of Fame, cowards.
Bet you won't.
Bet you won't. Bang. See, I'm learning. I'm learning the song.
Look at you.
I know it's almost like we've been together for like 3 months now. Josh Oddson, what's the odd news today?
Matt, what is your, I don't know your stance on soda pop.
Very indifferent.
That's what it seemed to me.
I'm not a hater.
Okay.
But I also Don't love it. I don't need to have it. I drink everything. Like I drink electrolyte drinks. I drink water. I drink, diet soda. Sometimes I'll have I'm more in tune to have a diet than I am a regular. And I like beer. So there you go. Those are all the drinks that I drink. What does this all have to do?
Do you have thoughts on Mountain Dew Baja Blast?
It's okay.
I also believe it is okay.
Some people talk about it like it's the second coming. I think it's a fine drink that if it were to be put in front of me, I would have no problem drinking.
Okay. We're in lockstep there.
Okay, cool.
Let's see. I want to get the title right. Taco Bell's Global Chief Food Innovation Officer.
That's a fake name. That's a fake title.
Liz Matthews was on a podcast recently and revealed that Taco Bell is coming out with caffeinated Baja Blast under eye patches.
What? like a skincare thing?
Yes. Like patches you put under your eyes to get rid of the bags. These are caffeinated Baja Blast patches.
Okay.
In a made or made up hypothetical Taco Bell product in a segment made or made up. That's the name of the segment. Excuse me. Hypothetical Taco Bell products were shown to a panel who had to guess whether the products had actually been created or faked just for the show. And one of the products that came up were the under eye patches. A lot of people thought they were made up, to which the CEO.
Yeah, I would think they're made up too. I think those people are totally correct in thinking that.
And the food innovator, or whatever the title was, said, no, that's a real thing we made.
Did she say it proudly? Or did she say it like, yeah, we made those? Or did she say, no, we made those?
Well, I'll read from the press release.
Oh, go ahead. Please release the press.
For the Baja Blast diehard, infused with caffeine and a refreshing boost of citrus, these patches energize skin and deliver cooling hydration.
Yeah, I'll just stick to Dove Men Plus Care.
Yeah?
I'm totally fine with
How long until The Rock puts Terramana in eye patches and ships them out to the populace?
You know what? That's a great question. I feel like crime in any area where those are accentuated would probably skyrocket.
That one's mine, Dwayne. I'm going to sue you if that becomes a real thing, okay? You got me, bud?
Just take a shot of Terramana tequila.
I would love to. If it was presented before me.
So, by the way, these caffeinated, and I want to move on from this pretty quickly, but I do have a quick question. Like these caffeinated eye patches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they meant to give you energy or are they meant for skincare?
They are meant for skincare.
That is, okay, moving on. Stupidest crap I've ever heard. Continue.
Oh, Matt.
Oh, no.
Just wait.
Oh, no. Is it an Ohio woman or a Florida man?
It's a California pig.
Okay, what did he do? Oh, God, I missed a joke. It's like, what did Gavin Newsom do? Bang!
That one's for you, Matt Rule.
Yeah, hey, wait, real quick. Where is it? Come on. That's how you get more listeners here in Nebraska. That's another one.
A 4-year-old pig living in California has earned a Guinness World Record for most followers on Instagram for a pig.
No, I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown has that award.
1.1 million followers for Merlin the pig.
That's a good name.
That's a
great name.
That's a good pig name, Merlin.
If we're power ranking pig names, that is up there. And then John Daly would be second.
Mina Alai adopted the now 4-year-old pig in March of 22 and started training him when he was just 3 months old. Videos on Merlin's Instagram page show him using buttons placed around the house to play voice recordings that specify his needs. Now at 4 years old, Merlin has over 30 buttons in the house that he uses regularly, sparking conversation online about just how intelligent, emotional, and human-like pigs can be when given the time.
Stop. First off, it's not that the pig knows English. The pig just knows when he hits this specific button, he gets this thing.
This is the ham button.
Some idiots, they're, he knows English. He knows how to speak. He knows our language. He knows what he's... No, he knows when he hits the button all the way to the left that he gets, food. And that when he hits the button all the way to the right, he gets to go outside and pee. And then when he hits the one in the middle, he gets to crap. That's what he knows. That's a common animal thing. My dog at home hits a bell. Okay. When Rocket hits the bell, that means that Rocket wants to go out and pee or he wants to poo. Rocket isn't smart. Rocket's a dumbass. Okay. He literally licks up his own crap. But he just knows when he hits the bell, he wants to pee. Some people freak out way too much about this stuff.
I can't. I would love to debate this with you, but no.
It's dumb and it's people are infatuated. The people who are infatuated with the stuff just are uneducated. Nebraska 98 Pats goes, does Merlin know he's also delicious? Clearly his owners don't. Bacon is great.
Oh,
so good.
Pork belly?
Dude, I had a pad thai pork belly the other day.
Whoa.
I went to Dan's Thai over on 78th and Cass.
Dan
has a Thai place. And it's really good. I had a
not the name I would trust when it comes to Thai food, but
okay.
I'll dabble. I'll go.
What does his name have to be, Josh Hodson?
It's not what it has to be. It's what I would prefer it to be.
All right. That's because his name is Dan. Does Dan make good Thai? Poll question. My answer to that is damn right he does.
Okay.
He makes great Thai. I had a duck breast curry the other day.
Whoa.
It was awesome. Medium spicy. Always got to get medium. The people who eat hot Thai are crazy humans. How do you do that? Give me your superpower, which a lot of people got fired up that I would say I would pick super speed.
Oh, we got superpower takes out there in the audience.
A lot of superpower takes. All right, what's our final law news story?
Well, this one might shock you, Matt. I'm just going to read you the headline.
I don't think it will.
Okay. New Jersey spa offering happy endings on website busted for prostitution.
Whoa, what a shocker.
We go to Jersey, where an Atlantic County massage business was busted for prostitution. Police searched Waterfall Therapy on March 11th. The search warrant was the result of a lengthy and detailed investigation into allegations of prostitution. 2 people were charged with prostitution and conspiracy to commit prostitution. I feel like I'm saying prostitution a lot.
Yeah, you're almost saying as much as to say the mascots for the Big Ten.
I'm just reading the article.
I'm just reading my script.
Well, you wrote your script. I didn't write this. A small note on the business's website notes that it offers massages with a quote-unquote happy ending. Robert Kraft. This investigation, I kept it to sports. This investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with additional information? Oh, that's the end of the article. Okay.
I was going to say.
They really only had that one line, and they just stretched it out to 4 paragraphs.
I was going to say, is their number one client Cobbert Draft? That was my joke that I was planning before you brought him up.
He comes in and he's wearing a hat pulled very low the entire time.
But he's always happy when he leaves. Do you know who's always happy when he leaves an interview?
Go on.
It's Stephen M. Sipple when he comes on with Middays with Matt. That was so poorly done. That's coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Middays, Matt wants to give you the opportunity to send you to a bunch of different places. Don't forget to go to the 1620thezone.com. We got a lot of different concerts that you can go to. You can enter to try and win, to go to Journey, to go to Joe Coy, to go to George Thorogood, the Black Keys, the Young Giant, and Chris Stapleton. All their shows available to enter in on 1620thezone.com. Just go there, enter in, and we'll give you a shot to win tickets to those concerts.
Very, very quickly before you get to our guest on hold, minute to go, Miami down 2.
No, stop it. Put that. Go to ESPN Plus. We have ESPN Plus on here, I think.
30 seconds, Miami down 2.
Dang it. All right. Well, we'll keep updated there. But Steve Sipple is on line 6. Steve, how are you?
Yeah, keep us updated.
Please do. I will. I'm on my phone right now, and I'll let you know everything that's happening. Real quick, I read a article. It was actually reposted by John Rothstein, and it was a quick tweet from Front Office Sports. College basketball finished the regular season with record viewership. Fox tells FOS it's recorded its most watched men's basketball regular season ever, while CBS saw its most watched regular season in 7 years. You wrote a great article a couple of weeks ago, Stephen M. Sipple, about how you haven't watched more college basketball since the 80s. And now it definitely does have a little bit to do with Nebraska basketball being good this year. And I think that's for a lot of people. But overall, you did admit it's like, yeah, I'm also just enjoying watching the games as well. Now, you love the NBA in step. We've talked about that here on the show. But is college basketball having a moment, Stephen M. Sipple?
Yeah, it is. In my opinion, isn't shaped by Nebraska. I'm duty bound to watch Nebraska under any circumstances, whether they're terrible or they're top 10. So I don't watch fewer or more games depending on how they're doing. So that's not a factor. The factor is that college basketball, because they're paying guys, is way better now.
Yeah.
It was at times for me, 6 years ago, almost unwatchable. Because I'm an NBA fan.
Yeah.
You watch an NBA game and you would watch an NBA game back then and turn to a college game and say, God, this is not good. But that's changed. It is good. It's fun to watch. These teams are, they've retained talent that would have otherwise gone to the G League or overseas or to the NBA. So, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed. And this is about 2 years, 3 years running now.
Oh yeah, and I think you're spot on with the fact that like we used to have guys who would go to the NBA and they would be projected to like be a second round pick, right? Or they would be even projected to like not even be drafted, but their best option was to go to the NBA and potentially make money as a pro. Now, because of NIL and because of the rev share and everything like that, we're at the point where second round picks are like, dude, I'll make way more money staying in college basketball. And second round NBA picks are some of the best college basketball players in the country. Look at Luka Garza, look at Draymond Green, look at Walter Clayton Jr. Those were, Naismith Player of the Year type guys, and they ended up, being drafted in the second round. So I think you're spot on. I loved your article too a couple of weeks ago when I read it because I haven't watched more college basketball in my life either. So
the tournament's going to be a dream.
It is. Real quick update here. UMass up 85-83, 9 seconds to go against Miami of Ohio.
Wow.
So currently right now, Miami of Ohio just fouled UMass. So UMass will be at the line. So I think the NCAA tournament committee is going to have to make a decision they definitely did not want to make when it came to Miami of Ohio. Let's talk about Husker football, Mr. Steve Sipple. We have probably had one of the louder weekends or weeks rather in Husker spring football than we've had this entire time. It's been a very quiet, notably quiet spring football run for the Huskers. What did you make of the open practice? What stood out to you? What guys stood out to you specifically? And what did you make yesterday of kind of some of Matt Rule's comments of where he was a little bit more mellowed out and a little bit more dialed in terms of what he wanted to reveal?
Yeah, I didn't see the entire team. I watched two position groups for the most part. In 25 minutes, you just can't. You can't.
No, you can't.
How it is.
I know.
Football team, you can't thing. I watched the D line, including the interior guys and the edges, so in totality, and then the linebackers. And one of the things that just jumps off the page is those two guys that they brought in, the transfer linebackers. That totally changed the complexion of the room. It's an amazing in terms of their height. I mean, they're long, big dudes. I mean, they're 6'3". Well, Owen Chambliss is 6'3", 236. I think he said it was 238 actually. 6'3", 238. That's the guy from San Diego State, and then Dexter Foster from Oregon State is 6'3", 236, and they are all of that. I expected Foster. Unbelievable. I expected Foster to be a little more blocky, but he's not. They're both lean, angular guys. Yeah. Remind me like the older generation of Nebraska fans that goes back to the great linebackers in the 90s. I think Carlos Polk. These are what I've been clamoring for a long time.
You have been.
Big, long, rangy thumpers. And that is a great picture.
Yeah.
Now, that means that Shavers, Vincent, will have to really kick it into gear. I mean, Shavers can still be a starter, but he's going to be pressed. Chambliss is going to start. Chambliss is going to start, okay? The battle is for the other job, and that'll be a hell of a battle. So those guys made a monumental impression on me. The D-line, that new guy they brought in from UCLA is very, very, he's a man. He's
Anthony Jones.
Yeah, thank you. Anthony Jones he's a grown man, and he's going to be a factor. If he's not a starter on the edge, with Winery and Petchak and those guys, he'll be a factor. He'll be in the rotation. Everybody you talk to, anybody that would look at a practice or if you talk to somebody who sees practices, the ongoing concern is everybody knows it. I mean, it's the D line. I don't know. Now, the thing is, so you don't panic. People don't panic. Is every school in America has areas of concern.
Yeah.
Every school in America, and I mean everyone, has something that they don't feel great about. So it's kind of how you manage it, how a staff manages that issue, and I think they'll have to manage it again. I think I like the edges.
Okay.
Just that interior that it remains a concern, and we'll have to see how they manage it. But the last thing I'd say is it's big, because if you don't manage it well, those two guys I talked about, those two big linebackers, it sort of nullifies. It doesn't nullify them, but it really compromises their effectiveness.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I think the problem last year, Sip, was that you didn't have that that beefy big center, right? Or, they were trying to put guys who couldn't really play that nose tackle position all that effectively. And then those smaller linebackers like Marquise Watson Trent would just get eaten up, right? And so now at least they got guys like Chambliss and Foster who can take on offensive linebackers or potentially shed blocks who are coming up to the second level. What do you make of this team size? Like, it's kind of something that's sticking out to me on this roster. Like, Mubenga's 6'5", Babalade's 6'5". Impuma, you talked about in the Husker Online article, how big he looks. When Nary's 6'7", you got two 6'3" linebackers you talked about. You got a freshman in Danny Odom who's 6'2". Like, is this team just kind of notably bigger than the ones that Matt Rule's had in the past at Nebraska? And do you think that plays a big factor?
Well, I mean, I lean towards bigger. I always have.
We're measurables. Measurables matter. They totally matter.
I think they do. I think in the Big Ten and in football in general, I just like taller, bigger players.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to do it, but as far as your question goes, it's better. I mean, you went through a lot of it. It's somewhat dependent on what you're talking about, what position group.
Sure.
Like the linebackers talk about, those two guys that came in have that size, but it's not a huge group as a whole. It's good though. I like the size. I like it looks good over there. The line the offensive line in particular is really, it's a good looking group. I didn't think it was, I thought it was a pretty good looking group last year, probably a better looking group this year, more athletic.
Mm-hmm.
They've improved that, it looks like.
Yeah.
From what I hear. But
Okay.
I'd have to size up a little bit more in terms of the overall roster.
What do you make of some of Matt Rule's comments, if anything, yesterday at his press conference?
Well, I mean, it's everybody's talking about. A lot of people are talking about the way he came off. It's kind of in keeping with the way what he wants this spring, which is to fly under the radar, and just work, just be industrious and show up to work every day, which you'd always want, right? I mean, you always want. But I think he's kind of over he doesn't want a lot of ballyhoo. He doesn't.
Sure.
He's not going to talk up a lot of people. It's just kind of not time for that. And come on, I don't want to talk around everything. Here's the deal. There's some pressure now.
Mm.
There was pressure last year, but there's more pressure now because of the way they ended last year, the way that November went, the nature of the losses, and it just feels different now, which it should. There's nothing wrong with it. The pressure is good. It's not a bad thing. I don't think he's on an extreme hot. I don't think Matt Rule is on an extreme hot seat, but there's pressure, and I think it can be good for everybody. And I'm glad it's here. It's helpful.
It's funny you say that because it's just like, he's not on an extreme hot seat. Well, you got a 2-year extension last season, like what would that conversation be if he didn't get that extension? Well, I think that's an interesting hypothetical and by the way, we can have plenty of time to talk about that through the entirety of the year. But I think it's like that. I read that today on, I think it was Sean's 3-2-1 about not being on a extreme hot seat. And I agree with that, but you're right. Ton of pressure. Talked about it earlier in the show. And I think this is a great question for you because, you were around for both of these essentially dynasties at the same time. And I'd love to get your thoughts on the comparison between Nebraska football and Indiana basketball. I went through the numbers, Steve, and it's just eerily similar how dominant they were in the 80s and the 90s and more so in the 80s for Indiana basketball and then the 90s more so for Nebraska basketball, and then how they've both kind of followed the same path. Here's a stat for you before I want to get your opinion on their comparisons. The last 10 seasons for both Indiana basketball and Nebraska football, the last 10 seasons, they both have had 4 head coaches, and they both have only made the postseason 3 times. Your thoughts on the 1-to-1 of Nebraska football to Indiana basketball?
Well, my immediate thought is on Indiana basketball, as it is with Nebraska football, is you go back to the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, what I really remember about Indiana most is Bob Knight. And Bob Knight, what he was doing in the 70s with the undefeated team, I think it was in 76. But Indiana basketball in the 70s it was ultra powerful. And then it continued, like you said. Yeah, the comparisons are eerie. It is eerie. And it's confusing to people like that. I think it's confusing to Indiana basketball fans. Well, how can this be? How can we lose 7 straight games to Northwestern?
Oh, it can happen, baby. It can happen, Stephen M. Sipple.
I know it did happen. And then you swing the conversation to Nebraska. How do you lose that many straight games to Iowa and Wisconsin?
Yeah.
How's that possible? It is. It's remarkable. It's in some ways, I don't know. Refreshing would be a really hard word. It is in that what I appreciate about it, and what I've always I've appreciated this for years. It drives home the notion that there's no guarantees. I'd become upset with people that said, "Well, Nebraska, you just roll out of bed and win 9 games." People kind of used to say that, and it would drive me nuts. It just drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And I still hear smart guys say it. Like Jerry DiNardo used to say it. And we'd get in, we butt heads over. I said, Jerry, it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
It's just not. And I think Indiana basketball fans probably came to take winning for granted like we did here.
Mm.
I sound haughty, but I never really did. I always thought, God, they're 9-3 and people are upset. I don't get it. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's not easy to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess in that way, I find it sort of refreshing. I don't want sports to be a guarantee. It's no fun.
Yeah.
It's no fun that way. So
I agree.
Let these programs fight their way out of it.
And
really good again.
I find it very. I honestly kind of find it appropriate that you use the word refreshing, just because from a Nebraska football perspective, at least somebody else is kind of going through what we're going through. Even if it's in a different sport, at least it's not just a Nebraska thing. There are other, long-time dynastic blue blood programs who had decade-long runs that somehow have found themselves stuck in the mud. At least it's not just a singular, team problem, which is kind of it's a funny way to look at things, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's Indiana's struggle in basketball is more bewildering because it's a basketball state.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
Nebraska doesn't have a ton of football talent. Not like Ohio.
Yeah.
I'd say Indiana basketball slides more bewildering.
I agree with that, Steve, because I said the same thing. It's like Nebraska geographically, like they are not close to Louisiana or Florida or Georgia or any of those teams that like can have those top talents stay at home and be close to home. Nebraska doesn't have that advantage that a lot of SEC teams do. And like Ohio State and Michigan, like there's great football in Illinois and Michigan and Ohio State and Pennsylvania and those surrounding areas. Nebraska doesn't have that advantage. Indiana is in a great basketball area for basketball talent. You got Illinois there. You got Indiana there. You got Wisconsin has had some really good guys come out of Wisconsin high school basketball recently, and they still can't figure it out. And two, Bob Devaney having, success in the 70s. Indiana doesn't really have that. They don't really have another coach that had the success that Bob Knight did. Nebraska has another coach other than Tom Osborne who's got 2 national championships.
Right. It's amazing. It is amazing. I like it from the Indiana standpoint. It makes people appreciate Bob Knight more. I mean, he had his problems. I mean, he's my all-time favorite coach, any sport.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So makes me appreciate what he did all the more.
Well, we appreciate you a ton, Stephen M. Sipple. You come on the show and you always have great conversations with us. We're very thankful for it. Thank you for moving your schedule around and joining us here at 12 o'clock on this Thursday. We'll talk to you in a week, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care as well, Mr. Stephen M. Sipple. Coming up next, back-to-back interviews. Rack them up. Rack them up, Donnie. Lauren Michelson of KETV coming up next.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt will be live from the Big Ten tournament tomorrow at the United Center. We will start broadcasting Middays with Matt around 9:45 during the crossover. We'll lead all the way into 1:45 crossover with Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And then we will, Unsportsmanlike Conduct dependent, the length of the show dependent on whether or not Creighton basketball wins today as they tip off at 1:30 against Seton Hall in the most famous arena in the world at Madison Square Garden. Our next guest from KETV is currently on her way to Chicago to be in probably the 15th most famous arena in the world. It's Lauren Michelson. Lauren, where in middle of nowhere, Iowa, are you currently?
Hey, we just passed Iowa City about a half hour ago.
Okay, good. So you got through the worst part. Good.
Right. I'd say we're home stretch, halfway point. So we're doing fine. We're keeping busy. There's quite enough basketball to be listening to right now.
Nice. Very good. Miami of Ohio just lost to UMass. I'm sure you saw that all over the Twitter feed.
I was going to say, we were watching. So, if that can happen, hell, maybe Creighton can go and make a run in this Big East tournament.
Oh, don't be crazy. don't be ridiculous.
I know. We were just talking about that. It was just such a disappointing season. And the interesting thing to come out of this year was you really care for and root for guys like Josh Nick Graves, and they're just great people and athletes, and you want to see them play a little bit longer, and heck, you want to see Greg McDermott play coach longer. So who knows? There's a lot to be talked about once their season does come to an end.
It without a doubt. And I think that there are a lot of really small wins that you can take away. There were some really great moments this season. They had multiple buzzer beaters and crazy comebacks, and you had that win in Stores against Connecticut and everything like that. Now, currently right now, I would give them a better shot at making the Big East tournament final if they didn't have to go through St. John's. I think there was a hope that Providence maybe could have a big upset over the Johnnies in the first round of the Big East tournament, but St. John's is well on their way to defeating the Providence Friars. So it looks like it is going to be the winner of Seton Hall in Creighton taking on St. John's. One of the classic sayings in sports, though, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. People do say that.
You're right.
St. John's is going to have to do that against Creighton if they are to win later today. But you're on the road not to cover the Creighton men's basketball team. You're on the road to cover the Nebraska men's basketball team. How excited are you, and what are your expectations heading into the Big Ten tourney for the Cornhuskers?
I'm thrilled. I've never covered Nebraska in a conference tournament, obviously, for basketball. We were not there 2 years ago. So this is just personally, we're excited to be there, and coverage starts tonight at 6 on KETV. So
all right.
But a little promo there. But yeah, I think Nebraska's in a great headspace. Fred says this team's got a lot of confidence. I think they are battle tested. I think they have faced enough adversity. They know what to expect. I think they're as well positioned as they could be to tackle potentially 3 games in 3 days. So we will see what happens. Now, Purdue, if that's who they face, which is very likely, makes me a little nervous, but I think it's a good thing that a lot of the problems they had against Purdue the first go around this year, they've seemed to clean up. So I guess this week is really just about continuing to get off to very fast starts and taking care of the basketball and winning the battle on the boards. And those are things they have done recently. So I feel good about this team right now.
How dare you give a scouting report on the Boilermakers? They haven't played the Cats yet. Lauren Michelson is counting on Northwestern willy-nilly.
Hey, Nick Marielli, he's a heck of a player. I think Northwestern's got a lot going for them, but
no, you don't. That was the biggest lie of a breakdown I've ever heard. You absolutely do not believe that.
We'll see. You never know.
You never know.
Things can happen.
Things definitely can happen. Let's talk a little Husker football, if you will. The quiet spring still is very quiet. Any takeaways at all? I actually do think you're a very good reader of personalities and reader of humans. I think that you do a very good job in the business and even outside of the business of being able to read people. What are you reading from some of these interviews that you've seen and you've been at in Lincoln this spring?
Well, thank you. I think
You're very
that's
welcome.
a good thing there. Very nice of you.
Thank you.
I think, well, we finally got to watch practice. And I think more so than even the press conferences, you learn a lot. Like, as much as you can learn in 20, 25 minutes of viewing, not a whole lot. But it was interesting to be at practice on a Tuesday because we did finally get to put some eyes on, especially Anthony Clandry, of course, who everyone wants to watch right now. And two things that I talked about this yesterday, but he's very comfortable, and the guys seem to really gravitate towards him. Like, he talked about having those individual handshakes with his teammates, and we saw that yesterday on Tuesday. He's quickly bonded with a lot of these guys, and he certainly carries himself like a starting quarterback, which even though he's taking first team reps, I do think in general that quarterback competition, whether it truly is one or not, will be good for him and also for TJ in the long term, and Danny Kaelin as well. And then he's just got good presence and poise, like he's accurate. And so from that standpoint, I'm excited for what he is smaller than I imagined, but I don't think that was a little, like, at first I'm like, oh yeah, because I don't think I was in person with him when he spoke to the media a few weeks ago. But
Sure.
No, I'm excited about him. And then, geez, like the offensive line looking like an offensive line, like having the size, and Chief Wade is a heck of a coach, and that was very entertaining to watch them. You're like, it just feels different up front, which is very exciting.
Do you have a power ranking of where you would like to go to cover the Nebraska men's basketball team, depending on where they are put or seated, rather, in the NCAA tournament in March?
Yeah, in my mind, it's I shouldn't have this perspective, but in my mind, it's a done deal. 3 seed in Oklahoma City.
Wow.
I've mentally prepared for that. It is the most likely option. I would be fine. St. Louis would be good. If they were to climb to a 2 seed, I think a lot has to happen. I think that could happen for them to get to the finals, but I don't. And then you'd have to win the tournament. I think. I think they're going to be a 3 seed, no KC, and that is just fine for me. Driving distance, I know of so many people who have already booked hotels in Oklahoma City, so that place would be packed, which would be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say no Kansas City, unfortunately, for Lauren Michelson in any of the stops along the way. So that's definitely tough. Now, I will say we'll just blame you, Lauren Michelson, telling people to buy their tickets to Oklahoma City right now. So if you buy your tickets there, it's your fault if they end up not being there. All right, what are your expectations for them in the NCAA tournament? Do you have do you have to be convinced of anything in terms of them doing the Big Ten tournament? Okay.
No, I sat down with Fred on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're airing that interview. We have a Selection Sunday special on Sunday night where that will air in full, more or less. But he just has a quiet confidence about this team, and he's very matter of fact, and they're taking a very deliberate approach and disciplined approach to the postseason, as they have with everything. I think, like, Nebraska's superpower as a team all season for the fact that they don't get too high, they don't get too low.
Yeah.
They are able to dig themselves out of holes, and they adjust pretty well. Now, you don't have much room for error in March, if any, but I like, not to jinx it, but we all feel like this is going to be the year they get that elusive win, of course. And I almost find it silly to be talking about getting that one win because, in my opinion, this team has much bigger they've had bigger aspirations, and we are expecting them to do more than just get that one win. So I'm excited to see what they do. I think they are in a very good headspace, and that is half the battle come March.
You were at senior night against Iowa, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever experienced an atmosphere like that for the one that you experienced when Sam Hoiberg came out for senior night? How was that, just being there really close to it, because you were on the floor and you kind of, just describe that for me, because it looked incredible on TV.
Yeah, we were on the floor. One, before Sam walked out, seeing Fred, you could see Fred getting a little emotional even as guys before him started to walk, but Fred's a pretty composed individual, to say the least. And so to see him actually get teary-eyed and not even try and hold it back necessarily ahead of a massive game was very cool. And then the applause in the building and just fans erupting. It was really cool. And I mean, this is a story we're going to remember for a long, long time. Like Sam Hoiberg as an individual and as a player, from walk-on to the heart of this team right now, and just the success he's had, all defensive teams, Big Ten. I mean, it's just incredible. So he deserves his flowers, and I think that was definitely a moment where it felt like he was getting some recognition, and then it was good to see the Big Ten, in a way, recognize him this week as well.
Okay, well, you're on the road right now. You're about, at this point, 40 minutes past Iowa City. So you're going to get to Chicago probably around, what, 4 o'clock probably?
Yeah,
you're
3:30.
3:30. Good time. Making very good time. So you'll be boots on the ground today, tomorrow, then hopefully all the way to Sunday as Nebraska, I'm hoping, makes it all the way to the to the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Plug your stuff. What should we expect? What's going to be on the socials? What's going to be on KETV? What is your plan? Are you going to be at the hotel? Are you going to have an Al's Italian beef? What is the plan for Lauren Michelson in Chicago?
Well, I'm riding with our photojournalist, Ben Smith.
Ben?
He has never had Portillo's before.
Whoa, Ben! Are you in for a treat? Yes.
He can't hear you because I have headphones in. He may be listening in. That's criminal.
It is criminal.
Number one is to get a Portillo's hot dog. Number two, and a chocolate shake, he said.
And a chopped salad. Got to get the chopped salad.
And a chopped salad,
yes.
So
Get a
we're
small.
going to eat good. But besides the fun there, we're live 6 and 10 tonight, 4 and 5 pregame tomorrow, 10 o'clock tomorrow, on air all week. And then again, we got that Sunday night selection show with Andy Kendi and myself. So a lot of good things coming your way.
I will recommend this because you've been to Tillo's before. Have you gotten, obviously you've gotten the fries, but have you asked for a cheese cup with the side of fries?
Of course I have.
Okay. All right. Whoa. You don't have to be all offended about it. I was just making sure that you hit the high points. Okay. Well, excited for you guys. Definitely excited for Ben. What a stud. Gonna have a great time in Chicago eating Portillo's. We will see you there for sure. Maybe Lauren Michelson makes a guest appearance on Middays with Matt tomorrow. Whoa. We will be at the United Center. You will be there too. So we will see you there. Can't wait to see all your coverage on KETV, and it'll be fun. Good luck.
Awesome, guys. Thanks. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Lauren Michelson of KETV doing all the coverage. I hope, for Lauren's sake, on Sunday before the selection show, the lead-in is her with the camera getting right up next to Sam and Rink, all sitting in seats after they won the Big Ten tournament, watching the selection show. I think that would be a really cool moment for KETV. Really good shot. And you got to think that selection show of the highest quality because Andy Kendi and Lauren Michelson are some of the best in the business. Do you know who's also some of the best in the business?
I don't. Please tell me.
I was going to say us, but I feel like that would be a little overzealous.
I thought that's where you were going, and I was ready to stop you.
No. We're not there yet. Here on Middays with Matt. Coming up next on 1620 The Zone, we're going to give away tickets to Hardy. Whoa! We're going to ask you a Hardy-based question. Is it about the actual artist? No, it's not. No. But it's about Hardys. Multiple Hardys, actually, this time. We gave away 1 pair of tickets. We're going to give away 2 pair of tickets to Hardy today. So stay tuned for that coming up next. We'll also give you a dog of the day. We'll also tell you what to watch. We'll also talk about some NFL free agency right before we wrap up this quick edition of Middays with Matt here on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right. This is going to be a very unproductive segment because
We don't recommend unprotected segments. That's right, baby. Double bang.
that was so good. Hey, no muff, no segment. Ugh.
Nope, I didn't like that.
How can we make a? See, now I've ruined it.
You have.
Is there an unbang?
Nope.
No.
My
Well,
health teacher in high school told me you can't undo a bang.
You're on it, Josh Johnson. Like the 2002 SummerSlam card.
What a
you are
card.
on fire. That is what.
That's what we did during the break.
J-Man goes, have you ever had an unprotected segment? Let's go to the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. We've gotten some emails throughout the day here. John goes, I'm not going to read this. He goes, I'll read it. When a major cartel leader is killed in a country set to host the World Cup matches and the cartel goes nuts, the ticket prices normally go down.
I don't know what you're referencing.
There was one guy who I found this YouTube clip where they're like, what is your guilty pleasure? And he goes, I go on trips to places that recently had a terrorist attack. That's his like thing. And
what a weird bit.
But he was like, look, nobody wants to travel there.
Uh-huh.
The ticket prices are super cheap.
Okay, so it's like months after.
There's nobody there. The security is up to a whole other level.
Okay.
You know, that was his thought. I know, right? Isn't that
okay.
terrible? Isn't that awful to think of?
There's something to that. It's a little morbid, but
yeah. I talked about Multiplicity earlier. John emails.
Michael Keaton?
Multiplicity is a great movie.
Annie McDowell?
I've never heard of that. Sean earlier in the show goes, having been to Ireland, most Irish have dark hair, dark eyes, and fair skin. Didn't see a lot of redheads. And if you see a blonde, they probably have some Viking in them. You want to see a lot of people who got some Viking in them, go to Minnesota. All of if you go to and I'm not talking Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm talking about northern Brainerd, Minnesota. Up the true land of 1,000 lakes, Minnesota.
Yeah.
You will see so many people.
It's a bunch of people who look like Brock Lesnar.
Literally. And the women are like 5'10"
And
at a
look like
minimum.
Brock Lesnar.
They're prettier than that. Brock Lesnar's kids, by the way, play hockey, which is incredibly scary.
His daughter's like a power lifter, and she looks just like him.
She's in track. And she's like one of the best throwers in the NCAA. She should go into. I just think all the Lesnar should do UFC fighting. So the reason why, though, we're on this WWE track is because we're giving away Hardy tickets right now. We're going to give away tickets to Hardy, the country artist, March 21st at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. I don't know anything about Hardy. I really don't. But I know a lot of people with the last name Hardy who have made an impact on my life. And one of those peoples, if you will, are the Hardy Boys.
With a Z sometimes.
With a
if
Z
you prefer.
all the time. All the time. Now, the Hardy Boys, you can agree to you can disagree here. Hardy Boys' most famous match, in my opinion, is 2000 SummerSlam TLC Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys.
All of them run together for me, so I can never really tell which one is which. But yeah, I would agree with that.
So here's the problem. My trivia question was going to be, who did the Hardy Boys wrestle in SummerSlam 2000? And I just told you.
You just told us?
I just told us.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the question if you want to win your way.
You got to email me.
You got to email.
This isn't
Josh,
a phone
Josh,
thing.
see, on the dot. Josh at 1620thezone.com. I'm good at my job. Here's a new question. You ready?
Ready.
The Hardy Boys took on Edge and Christian and the Dudley Boys in a TLC match. What does TLC stand for?
Oh, if you were listening to the crossover,
yes, you would know
a week or so ago.
What does TLC stand for? Josh O at 1620 The Zone, the first two people to email in to tell them what TLC stands for. It's not Tender Love and Care. I'll tell you that right now.
It's not T-Boz Left Eye and Chili.
No, it is not. It is something different. Email Josh O right now at 1620 The Zone, and you can win your way to Hardy on March 21st at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. Our show is starting to wrap up here because we're going to go right into the coverage of Creighton men's basketball taking on the Seton Hall Pirates. John Bishop will do our pregame from 1 to 1:30. Then he will be on the call at the most famous arena in the world at the Big East Tournament. Creighton basketball looking to defeat Seton Hall to have the right to play St. John's, more than likely, who are up 18 points with 6:42 left to go, barring a miracle from the Friars. Josh Hodson, what are we?
Friars!
I mean,
Go Friars.
it's not as if Creighton has owned the Friars this year. Or anything
What?
like that.
You shut your pretty
They
mouth.
lost to them both. You called me pretty? So nice of you. Thank you. Thank you. What are we watching?
We start with ball. We're going to end with ball.
We like balls.
We'll start. Careful. We'll start with puck. Oilers Stars tonight at 7 on Hulu. NBA doubleheader on Amazon Prime tonight at 6. We go to the Motor City where the Pistons host the Sixers, and then a potential NBA Finals preview. Celtics Thunder at 8:30. College basketball, we got games going on all day. Number 2 Arizona takes on UCF. 2 o'clock on ESPN. Big Ten tourney today, about to get underway in about, let's call it 40 minutes. Washington against Wisconsin. And then at 5:30, Northwestern against Purdue. The winner of that game takes on Nebraska tomorrow. Matt will be there at the UC Live all day, all weekend, really.
Yes, we will.
BYU against Houston. Kind of an interesting little matchup in the Big 12 there. 6 o'clock on ESPN. And, of course, next we take you inside Madison Square Garden with John Bishop and his pregame coverage from New York City and the Big East Tournament, Matt. And Unsportsmanlike Conduct immediately after John's postgame.
Look at that. That's just good radio right there. And that's all we do here. Good radio.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
All right, we have a new challenger here. The rule of dog of the day is simple. I pick an underdog of the day. Okay, I tell you they're my favorite dog.
That's right.
I recommend a $10 bet on these things, okay? Gamble responsibly. But don't forget, if you're going to gamble, always go to Prairie Flower Casino. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Great sponsor of this incredible radio station, along with Liquid Trucking, which our own Twitter feed is powered by, and the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. Look, we're good at radio. We're plugging our sponsors. The rule is, if you give me a dog of the day, I'm taking it. If you tell me, hey, bet this dog, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to take it. There's no thought. You've done the work already.
I don't know if you should be telling people that.
I've already done this before.
But then people can just hey, I like the Browns today against the Eagles.
Okay, but if this is coming from a place of sincerity. Okay? Because Jacob Bigelow texted us one time.
Biggie.
From a place of sincerity and said, hey, Colorado State, they won 8 in a row.
Biggie's ghost dogs are undefeated, he said yesterday.
He's 1-0. He had one ghost dog.
Is that not undefeated?
We have a ghost dog today from our very dear friend. Okay? Our very dear friend, texter of the show, texted us and said, hey, take the Bonnies over George Mason. At the time.
Is Woj our ghost dog?
At the time of our ghost dog texting us and telling us, hey, take this team, they were a plus 3.5 point underdog. That line has since moved down to plus 2.5.
Hey.
So maybe our ghost dog is juicing the line right now. He's lowering the line himself. We do not know. But like we said, if you give us a dog, we're going to take it. Or you might end up on the dead to us list, depending on what the result is. I don't make the rules, but if you're going to text me and tell me this is who you should bet, and I bet it, the punishments will come. So we are going to take the Bonnies plus 136 as our dog of the day. Thank you, Ghost Dog Texter. We appreciate you greatly.
Ghost Dog is a Forrest Whitaker movie. I gotta look
this
this
Did it
up.
win an Oscar? Oh, the Oscars are on Sunday. I'm going to be on a flight back.
It is. RZA's in it too. Wow.
Who?
RZA?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Is that a This Week in Women's History?
No, it's a man.
Oh, okay. Who's the guy who's Cinna in the Hunger Games? I want to get away. I want to fly. Lenny Kravitz. That's who I was thinking.
You thinking of Zoe Kravitz?
I was thinking of Zoe Kravitz. We have 20 seconds left before we have to get off the air on a hard out. Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm excited for you to be broadcasting live from the United Center tomorrow. Big Ten tournament.
Big Ten tournament. Middays with Matt tomorrow from the United Center, my home arena where I grew up.
Sponsored by Early Bird.
Sponsored by Early Bird. We cannot wait. We're going to send you to Madison Square Garden right now to John Bishop and the Bluejays. Thank you for listening.